Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Primo Calcio. We have a special guest today. We got the guys from the Die Sports here joining us today, so as well as with myself and Anthony, as always. We got Dash, we got Canadian Dave and German Dave. Thank you guys for joining us today. How you guys
Thank
doing?
you.
I love
Hey,
that it sticks. Canadian Dave and German Dave. You guys have now become like personalities across the internet.
I don't mind.
Yeah,
I
I
like
mean
the
we're the
character.
same. We're the same though. How do you differentiate? Especially we're not even on camera. I dressed up for nothing tonight.
well, what do you have
So
on? Just describe it slowly.
Yeah.
it's just like my jogging pants and one of those zip up Juve
Whoa, 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 whoa,
sweaters.
whoa,
That's
whoa, whoa!
it.
You're wearing pants? You're wearing pants?
You
Well,
know
that's a
Yeah.
it's
problem right there.
cold.
That's already an
It's
issue.
cold in my basement. You know this. And at least I don't wear socks while I'm streaming.
Go.
Neither does Dash. He likes to show his feet like the past
That's
couple
an
of months.
inside joke. I don't know if you guys wear socks or not, but at least my toes are nice and free.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
Dave used to ridicule me for that.
You just do you. I'm not here to judge your socks or no sock look, but basically, we're gonna go over an entire player ratings here of most of the season here, and say, would you keep them? Would you sell them? And kind of go from there. So kind of a little team by jury
Ratings
here.
0 through 10. And last time we got in a little dispute about what was the average ranking? Like when you just walk onto the field, you play an average game, is that a 5 or a 6? We need
I
to
think it's a
revisit it.
six.
So I
It's a
think
six?
most
No,
people judge it by like if you played a decent game, you get a 6. If you played below decent, you get 5.5 or less. That's like the stock thing that I've seen. What do you guys think?
Okay.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, everyone
whatever.
does do it differently, so house rules.
All right. House rules.
Yeah, your guys' house.
All right, so
I
we'll do
just
it
hope
how
it's
most people
nothing
do.
too complicated at 2:30 a.m. for me almost.
Is it really?
In
Wow.
German time, well,
Yeah,
What
This
a
guy's a
champ.
champ. This guy's a champ.
yeah, exactly. If you get him a little bit riled up, he'll start yelling Schwarzes and Schweinsteigers and stuff. So, like, try not to get German Dave a little bit riled up.
Schweinsteiger,
He's
Oh, you
exhausted.
should
amazing
get him riled
player.
up. Then.
I actually respect Schweinsteiger, Dash. I'm
Yeah,
not
Schweinsteiger's
getting his
awesome.
name.
Good player. All right, boys. Let's start at the beginning with the keepers. Mattia Perin. Take it
Did you
away.
even rate him?
Yeah, he
Like,
hasn't
did he
played.
even play?
He didn't play in the
Oh,
second
Like,
half of
he
the season. He
just
played a bit.
Coppa Italia and a couple of Champions League games. And
I mean, he basically got boned by Monta, and Tudor didn't do anything with him.
Yeah.
well, I
I mean,
think
he
he
stuck
has
with it.
hand surgery. So,
I think
I give him a 6. I'll give him a 7. He was good when he played. It's not his fault he didn't play, right?
he's an admirable sub from what I see. Kind of, I know I'm on the outside looking in here as a mom, but I watched a lot of Juve this season because of the cast. But I would say Perin is a very admirable sub. I would keep him. What would you guys do? Let's go.
Yeah,
oh,
I mean,
And
absolutely. Vice. Yeah.
oh,
we can kind of go like a
I would
little.
absolutely keep.
Oh, you all right? So German Dave keeps. Canadian Dave, what do you do?
I've always said he's the best backup in Serie A, and I'd always keep him.
I would agree entirely. I would give him
And
maybe
he's a character guy. I don't think you wanna lose that. Like he's one of those guys that still has like some identity. So
one of the few
Still
on you.
suspends.
why not?
That's for sure.
I agree. What about you, Dash?
6'5". What do you think? That's kind of what I'm going right now. Like he didn't play a lot, so I can't give him a massive rating.
Yeah,
But I think he's better, definitely better than your average backup keeper.
Yeah,
I
he
would
definitely
say
is.
it's 6'5".
His
Yeah.
I would
FODMAP
say 6'5"
rating
or a
is
7.
7.2, by the way.
I'm so hesitant to
I would
say
even go
7 because
7.
I mean he didn't play. There must be some sort of reason for that. I don't know.
We got a
Oh, it's because he
6.5.
bought the number one goal. It's because he bought the number one goalkeeper, so Perrin will not see a lot of playing
I mean,
time.
we're
But
splitting hairs. If
when he
if you got to
plays,
give him the 7, give him the
I
7.
think we're going 7. We got 3 who want a 7
I
and
like
2
a
who want a
7.
6.5.
Okay,
Okay,
I'll lead. Round up.
you gotta go.
Boom.
Let's roll. Who wants to take this one?
Let's
I'll
let
kick it
Dash
off.
start it.
I'm gonna give him maybe a 6 to a 6.5. Reason why is more so there's a lot of instances where I've seen his positioning be very, very suspect. Great reactions, like his keeping reactions are really good, but his positioning is highly suspect at times. Or again, I don't know if it's by design or by scheme that Malta does it, where he played him a little bit higher than you should for a keeper, because there was some goals where I was looking at it, or even some challenges that he did. I'm like, you don't need to be that high. Like, I'm trying to remember the one. I think it was it the
Milan, right? Copa.
It was the Milan game, right? Yep, you hit it right on the head. Where he essentially gets beat by a mediocre cross because he's
Yeah, it's terrible.
well beyond that penalty spot, right? Where I'm like, I don't know why your positioning is there.
I think it like
you know,
deflected off of Gatti and went way beyond him, and the cross was like not a good cross. I think it hit Gatti and then and it was from outside the box
Yeah.
too, and he was so far out of position it went in.
The reason
Exactly,
he was
right.
there, that's 272 for you. That's what you get with 272, whatever the hell that means, right?
Right,
He's playing a high line.
Tactics.
It's like he was part of the offside trap. You uncultured swines. No.
I see. I guess I shaved my man bun off yesterday, so I just simply can't understand anymore.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of one of the reasons why I kind of give him a 6 to a 6.5. He isn't your traditional Juve goalkeeper, and what I mean by traditional Juve goalkeeper here, it's keeper that just stands in between the sticks and holds the sticks, right? That's kind of what Juve has had as precedents for keepers, from Dino Zoff to Buffon to even Chesney, right? Because Chesney was the same kind of thing. So Di Gregorio is a new kind of keeper that Juve have, where I don't want to say he's a hipster keeper, but he's more aggressive, more out of his line than what a normal keeper is. I did kind of see him settle back in the sticks under Tudor, but again,
Yeah.
Tudor, there's not really much great tape of Tudor ball because it was atrocious. But reactions, I still give Di Gregorio great reactions. But again, the reason why I dock him some points is some highly suspect positioning.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah,
So what would your rating be?
I totally agree.
6. I'd do a 6.
The Daves, would you rate him?
That's rough.
I would go
That's
6
rough.
and
He
a half.
practically played
I would
every
go
single
6
game.
and a half at
I mean,
least.
you're gonna obviously make mistakes. He didn't have. I'm not gonna say he's the best keeper out there. He's no Buffon, that's for sure. But he put in solid performances and he saved a few games.
Especially in the last
The
part
team.
of the season.
Look who his back line was, man.
Yep.
Yeah, this is true.
Come on, I'm giving him a 7.
We got a 7, we got a
It's better than
6, and we got a
it's
6
better
and a
than
half.
his Monza back line.
This is true.
So
wait, was
And he,
it though?
and he won MVP with Monza.
yeah, he
Yep.
was excellent with Monza.
Sure.
He was.
I'm just I'm bringing it
Sure.
up to troll, but like
Okay,
in
but then he
theory
had.
though,
What was his rating that year then?
it was like an 8 or something.
Yeah,
It was like
he was
insane.
definitely one of the
And-
best keepers in Serie A that year.
Okay,
Dude,
but
bro.
so he got
also
an 8. Now he gets a 7 and put a slightly better team. To fourth place.
I would change towards a 7. I agree with Kenny.
I mean,
like after all,
we struggled
like,
against Monza this year, right?
So the
if you
Daves are
think
going
about
7.
if you think about last season, by like the amount of shots he
German
faced at Monza, he had a lot more to save, I
Is
guess.
German Dave even
So-
here?
Yeah, Jimmy
Yeah, I
Dave's
can hear him.
Yeah,
talking.
you can't hear him talking?
No.
Yeah, you may have to adjust
shit.
your Discord because I've seen coming through. So yeah.
Yeah.
He's rating him a 7 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, try to
That's
adjust
okay.
your
I'm giving him a
Discord.
6. I thought he was pretty average. He had his moments and he made his mistakes. So I give him a 6.
And then Dash, were you 6 or 6.5?
I am gonna go with 6. So I think this averages out to a 6.5 then,
And
right?
I was gonna give a 6.5. So kind of that's smack dab in the middle. So we averaged this man at a 6.5. Okay.
we can't rate Bremer.
Can we even rate him?
You can.
I think we.
No.
No, you can't.
All right, he gets a
I don't
question
think
mark.
you
No
can.
great point.
Gatti.
Oh.
Canadian Dave, can you hear German Dave now or no?
I say we
Yeah,
let
I do.
German Dave start.
Yo, Dave.
Yeah,
Then-
I do. That's I apologize. He was muted. Discord had muted Dave. I don't know. He was censoring the German.
Discord
I
only wanted
apologize.
one Dave and he said no.
I was
Just
just
to remove
dropping
both of
straight
us.
heat. Yeah.
Every
No,
time
you won.
censoring the Germans.
This
So
is
I don't know
nine
how
good,
awkward
meine
that
friend.
first. How awkward was that first
Good.
few minutes of me just talking over him the whole time?
It wasn't
so.
that awkward,
Oh,
but there were some moments where I was
wasn't
like, "Oh man, you gotta be listening a little bit," but it's fine. It's not a big deal. It was like
Yeah,
2 or 3
The
seconds.
only time I
I'm
got
good,
weird
Nick, I'm
was
sorry.
the only time I got weird was he's like, "What's German Dave saying?"
And you just gave him a 7. All right, Federico
Gatti.
Gatti. What do you think?
Who starts?
You do. Go for it.
All right, I'm giving Gatti an 8 because I think that's the maximum he can achieve. I think he probably played better than he's ever going to play. If he could play like that again for us next year, I'd be happy. He's Gotti. He's going to do Gotti things. But I thought overall he was one of our better defenders. And he had his moments, especially in some of our quote-unquote bigger games. So for Gotti's standard, I'm giving him an 8.
Right. Dash, what you think?
There's the Gotti with a proper center back partner, and then there's the Gotti without the proper center back partner. So I'm going to be generous, and I'll probably say 7.5. You can see what he does with competent defenders around him, and then you also see what he does without competent defenders. And again, I think he is one of those defenders that you need to have a competent cover center back or an enforcer center back because I don't think he's a very disciplined enforcer himself. Like you can see how he is with Bremer next to him because Bremer is the definition of an enforcer. So I would say because he's had his moments, he's for what he is, I could probably see a 7 to a 7.5. I'll just go with 7.5. I'll go on the higher side.
All right.
Because he does have the epitome of grit, and he just has that personality that you need for an aggressive back line. It's just he has brain fart moments.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what you're going to get from Gotti.
Yeah.
He lays a brick.
Let's go Canadian Dave.
Yeah, I mean, I love him. He's one of my favorites, mostly because I just love his attitude. I love his style. Those are the
Mhm.
types of players I like. But I recognize his technical and tactical weaknesses because they are there. I think he's a great all-rounder, and he's always going to give you a 7, like day in, day out. Even when he's got his bad days, he still like shows up mentally somehow. He's always there somehow. So just, I mean, solid 7s all around. Bugatti.
Right. German Dave.
Honestly, I thought I would be the negative one on him, but I wanted to go 7 as well. Dash said it right. Like for Gotti, it was an 8 season. Like if you consider where he comes from and how he performs overall, and how we said already last season, he is on a knife's edge all the time. Like for if you think about him, it's an 8, but if you think like average defenders, for me, it's a clear 7. Like above average, he played a good season, but there was like so many like tactical gaffes that he made. Technical ability is not up there. Like he's a good all rounder. I wouldn't go great all rounder. So I would keep it as a 7 because he is solid, but I wouldn't go further than that.
I think 7's the right number. I think I was giving him 8 just because I was using him as his own standard. So
Yeah. I think
Have you
8
been-
is
have you
like
been
for
hanging
what
out with
Gotti
Frankie?
is.
I was saying, has Primo been hanging out with Frankie or something?
Yeah,
Frank
there's
A?
some huge Gatti stands out there for sure. I love, again, that's his attitude. If you can give him points just on his like Juve DNA, whatever we call that these days, man,
Yeah.
he's up there.
At
That's
least,
kinda-
it's a terrible measuring stick, but it's like at least he wants to be there.
Yes, that's what I'm seeing. Like from the outside looking in, from my perspective, I see him as one of the most Juve guys that you guys still have left on the team because a lot of that DNA has left. He's one of the few, and it's because of that mindset that he always shows up. He's not a remarkable defender. I think in the US of the past, he'd be a backup for sure. However, with what you have right now, every single game you can count him to give his absolute all from minute 0 to minute 90. I think a 7 is very fair. I think he's just a limited ability wise, but mentally he's very good. So as far as grinta and grit goes, he's a bit tactically weak, but I think a 7 is the right call. So I think settle on
So
that.
he's a keep around the board, across the board keep.
I think we all will keep.
So
Oh
we
yeah,
have
we
no
forgot to
fouls
say
then.
that. So keep. Would you guys keep everybody so far? Perin, Di Gregorio, Bremer, and Gatti.
Yeah,
I think
I
so.
would say so. Yeah. All right, so everybody's a keep. Now we go to Clue. I think there's gonna be a little more discussion on this one. Let's actually start with the Daves this time because we ended with them. So let's go German Dave first. Oh,
Honestly, in my opinion, tactical weaknesses as well. He is very small for a center back, which he always what Giuntoli scouted him for. But I don't see him as a center back, so in my opinion, we played him out of position a lot. And ironically, I think Kalulu played best under Motta when he was a right back, basically. I think that was his best spell. But when we moved him to right center back in a 3-man back line with Tudor, he disappointed, in my opinion. I wouldn't go higher than 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah,
What about Canadian Dave?
that's pretty fair. That is pretty fair. Similar reasoning, honestly. I liked him when he was on the wings, the right back position, what have you. Tudor, there's a couple guys when Tudor showed up, just because of the formation, they suffered a bit. That doesn't take away from the fact that Kalulu still showed up and did a job. I mean, Gatti, Kalulu, similar thing. They had to step up into that role, into that position, and do it. And they did it together for the most part for a long stretch, right? So just less Juve DNA, I suppose, than Gatti. Just not quite as versatile when we went into that Tudor system. So 6.5.
All right, Anth, what do you think?
I mean, I'm not a fan at all. I give him a 5. I think that yeah, German Dave's right. He was, I don't think he was brought in to be a center back. I think he was brought in to be a right back, but that's where he had to play. And man, there's so many goals he cost us this year. Almost on every game you can count on him to cost us something. He had some nice slide tackles. And I think that's exciting, but they're usually coming from him being way out of position and just course correcting. But he does have, he's fast enough to get back and do it. So I think for me, it's a 5, and no, I would not keep.
Dash, what do you think?
I'm going to give him a 6. He started the season off well. Again, I think he was utilized in more of a position of strength that he had at the beginning of the season. And then second half of the season, he fell off a cliff. Part of it due to coaching, and part of it, I think, due to injuries as well. I think he's not the kind of player that you leave out on an island to die. He is a player that needs proper coverage around, and he can cover the gaps. I think that's what he did well when he played for you guys at Milan, when he was filling in as a center back, because you had oh man, I forgot his name. Starts with a D. Not Tamori. You had Tamori as your center back, but your right back, Kristan. No. He was your guys' captain that you guys
Calabria.
shipped out.
Kyer?
Calabria. There we go.
We had
Calabria.
Calabria was the one who was there, but Kyer was also there that season. Tamori and Kalulu did kind of eventually take the starting positions, but later in the season, second half of the season, they were so.
Yeah, because he would fill in the center, and then you would have Calabria as the right back, and that's where I think he again and that's what kind of Motta emulated the first half of the season, where I think it was Savona and then Kalulu, or Cambiaso and Kalulu, where I think that made more sense. Again, this is more if we get to the Tudor rating, I'm just going to dunk on Tudor, but like for example, Tudor kind of left him on an island to die by doing a back three, because a back three you isolate the defender, and unless you are an elite one-on-one defender, you're generally left on islands to die when you play like that. But still, again, I think his second half of the season, I don't know if it was just mental fatigue or team fatigue, but it kind of went downhill. So I'm just going to throw a 6 on there. I'm going to be a little bit generous with that.
Gotcha.
He was playing a ton. I mean, him and Gatti played a shit ton of games at one point. So
Yeah.
I know these guys are pretty brittle, but yeah, that probably.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of
Like I said,
surprised that he didn't do well on a back three, because and at Milan his first season with us, he did quite well at center back, but not very well at right back. He just didn't have the attacking prowess, so he could stay back a little bit, and then he did great at center back. Second season, I think that he lost his humility because he was coming in as a youngster and he was very humble. He stayed home. He played very, very well. He actually seemed incredibly mature when he came in the first year at Milan. Second year, because they won the Scudetto in basically his first year, I think he kind of thought he was too big for his britches. He started taking many more chances. He was leaving a lot of gaps, and he started to basically cost us at least one big chance a game, if not more. And that's what I was actually seeing at Juve. Almost at every game, I could see a chance being let up by him when he was at center back. So I would probably go maybe like a 5.5. I could see a 6, but I would go maybe like a 5.5. So I think our ratings overall average close-ish to about a 5.5 or a 6.
6.
Yeah,
6 is fair. Got it. 6 is fair. Okay. Cambiaso.
Keep or sell though.
Oh, that is actually interesting.
I said
Anthony, we know where
sell.
you lie. You're a sell.
I'm a keep, just because we don't have anything else right now. And if I again, ideally in a perfect world, right? Gentile has some balls, and we actually have center backs, and you could just keep him as a fullback. And for me, I see him more as a facilitating fullback, where he's able to do the lateral or the vertical pass forward and not create chances or put himself out of position. That's again where you would have a more attacking fullback, where he's the more sit back and facilitate ball fullback. Compared to everyone else that we have on the pitch, I think he's the only one that could really do that role. Because again, Savona's still kind of raw, and it's just Savona, no one else, and Cambiaso's on the left. So I think you would have to keep it for right now because you're not getting much resale on him.
Yeah, what's the fee that they would have to buy him for?
15 million it was, I believe, the buy option.
15, which is really not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad, honestly.
Yeah, that's the saving grace, really. I mean, he's
It's one of the
First
few
phenomenon.
good deals that we actually did this year, and for 15 mil for a depth piece that could technically play center back, left back, whatever, play the different systems. It's a good utility piece. I don't mind keeping him.
That's kind of where I'm at with the keep. I actually, if you're making this guy your starting center back, I would say definitely do not keep, do not buy. Right? I wouldn't do it. However, as a depth option, because I'd revamp a lot of Juve for me if it was me. I would basically just be keeping Bremer, Gatti, and bring a couple other center backs. But I think I would keep him as a versatility piece, and that's about it. If he was costing more like 25, I would say no. But I think for 15, I would very hesitantly say keep.
German Dave, what do you do? Sell or keep?
I know I'd say keep as well, and that's just because of the valuation of 15 million. Had it been more, I'd say, look, if you look for a fullback, you can find fullbacks that perform better, that have better ball facility, and that had better runs, that can crash the box. Like he doesn't have those capabilities. And as a center back, you can find like better for 20 million, like had it been 20 million. But I think 15 million is not disastrous amount of money. So
No, I mean
I'd
you look
leave
at
it.
the amount you paid for Kelly, right? I mean, Clue is much better than Kelly, and
Yeah.
he's cheaper. So I mean that tells you everything you gotta
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. No
Cambiaso.
argument.
Yeah, right. I think that's a good sum up there. So in general, most want to keep with some hesitation. Cambiaso. He was linked away in the winter mercato, but ended up staying. Where are you guys at with his rating? And then I guess this time we'll start with Dash.
6, I think inconsistent. Just because there's good spells, bad spells. I think he's a very, very great fullback. I just think, again, a lot of it had to do where he was burdened with the offense because Dusan sucks. But on top of that, you didn't have proper chance creation offensively, and it was burden on him to do a lot of it. And I think, again, he kind of got found out a little bit, and it kind of took his performance down, and then also injuries kind of hampered him. But again, I think from the Italian perspective, I think he's probably one of the best, if not best, fullbacks that Italy has right now, and I just think he needs a proper coach with proper stability and proper utilization to kind of get that consistency. Again, you saw what he did under Max. Max had him thriving, and he was a starlet essentially. But again, I'm giving him a 6 just for the inconsistencies.
Cool. The Daves.
He's had a bad year. Kind of a great player, as Dash said. One of the best perhaps in Italy. He's 25. He's kind of at that age where he should be starting to come into his own.
Yeah, he has to now.
Yeah, he has to make that next step. So he's just had a bad year and he needs to learn from it essentially. And he'll move on and he'll do great things. If Man City was looking at him, that's always a good sign, right? So regardless, he's got it in him. Didn't perform well this year. Ups and downs. He had some great ups. He had his injury. I don't know. I'm like in a 6.5.
Okay, so kind of around what's similar. But German
Yeah.
Dave, what are you thinking?
I'd go 6.5. Like when he played, which wasn't a lot, unfortunately, this year. Oh, sorry, I'll correct myself because he still played 33 games. But around that winter time, the games he played, like he was mentally already at Manchester City, and I didn't like that. He cost us so many goals around that time. Like we conceded so many goals on his left side. And I didn't like that he checked mentally out, but when he played, like he was still involved in chance creation whenever he could, whenever he got into position on the edge of the box. His crosses were still good. Overall, like 2 goals, 3 assists. I'd go still 6.5. Like to be generous with him, like because he was out, and I don't think he got into a proper rhythm. So I'd be generous with him.
How much was that his mind in Man City, or was it more, I have a way out for Mata? Because maybe that's what it was. Maybe I just want to leave this asshole.
Hard to
I don't
say
care
because
what
Mota
you
definitely didn't have him playing well. That's for sure.
I mean, he started
No,
the
but
season well. I didn't think he was playing bad at the
it's
beginning of the season.
same-ish, right?
Yeah.
But
No,
he
but
was
it's same-ish, right, Dave? Like whether he wants, whether it was Manchester City that turned his head, or whether it
no,
was
it
Thiago
was.
Motta turning his
Yeah, that was my dig at Mata
head
though.
away. Yeah, I get that.
I gotta get him.
Had
In
to take
there.
his jab. What are you thinking, Ann?
I agree with a lot of what Dash said there. I think that part of the issue was that he was kind of tasked with being their a creative outlet, and I because we didn't have any sort of attack, but and I also think it's because we did lack a regista. He was stepping up in the midfield a lot, trying to do too many things, and I think there's a lot of potential there, and he definitely needs the right coach to get him back on track, because he was, especially like his Italy performances, him and DiMarco on each side, that looked really good. And I prefer him on the right side as well. I also prefer him as a wing back as opposed to a side back. I just don't think anybody in the modern game can actually play side back properly. They're all so bad defensively, and he's no exception. So I'm going with the 6, and I would keep.
He reminds me of Locatelli last year. Now that you mentioned that, right? Just does well. Sometimes national team, different version that you have on the club team. And I hope next year, same with Locatelli. He just shakes it off, but we'll get to Locatelli in a bit.
Yeah.
I think Cambiaso he's got massive potential, and the games where he plays well, he looks like one of the best in the world, to be honest. And he's definitely Italy's second best wing back after DiMarco. And I thought he actually started the season great. He looked very, very good, which is probably why Man City was looking at him. After his injury, he never came back properly, is what I thought. His head could have been checked out. He never just got really back into the full rhythm. He started doing a little bit too much. And so I think the first half of this year, the first chunk of the season, I would give him a really strong rating. Second chunk, I would give him a weak one. So I think he's got to average around a 6. He's got a ton of potential to be like an 8, player. But I think I'd give him a 6 this season. And would everybody keep? I would definitely keep him. But would you guys keep?
Yeah, he's a foundational piece, I would say.
Yeah.
Unless you get like the 100 mil from Man City.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean,
it's hard to
has
pass
a
up from
price,
that
let's
one, right?
Yeah.
I have an unpopular take. Like, I would probably sell Yildiz before I sell Cambiaso.
More just because of the
I don't
foundational
disagree with
piece,
that.
or what are you thinking? For that.
Longevity from the position, right? Because, like, again, I have this kind of mantra where I think wingers are like running backs, and you don't pay running backs. And I think the position you can get a lot more out of the position, right? Like, for example, there's times where, fullbacks can be essentially transitioned into center backs towards the twilight of their careers, and just his mindset and his creativity from the play. I think, again, he's a two-way player in my eyes, where, again, he isn't your traditional defender, right? And he's no Maldini, right? But from what today's game constitutes and what it needs, I think he could do that very, very well. And again, he's 25 years old. I think you could hold him for at least another 5 to 6 years and get a pretty solid output out of him if you keep him healthy.
Yeah, he may even start getting better defensively as he gets older.
Exactly.
Well, that usually happens, yeah.
Let's move to
And I agree with all
another.
that.
Yeah, let's move to another youngster, Savona. Let's start with Ant this time.
Well, at the beginning of the season, he looked really good. I mean, he shut down a lot of big names, or at least a few of them. I really like what I saw out of him. I always felt that he was a center back in a 3-man back line, so it's been kind of nice seeing him there lately. Although it's been pretty horrible. He's had some pretty horrible teammates in that back line. I mean, I think Savona is someone who really suffers from a lack of leadership of the team, a lack of quality veterans to learn from, to play alongside. Just throw a young kid out there and hope he's great, kind of thing. But I don't know. I think he had a really good season. It was definitely patchy, but that's what you expect for a kid, starting his first season. I give him a 6.5, 7.
All right.
You know,
What you think, Dash?
Yeah, I'd lock it in there, 6.5. Again, he played this season with house money, and I think he did average to above average. So I would just give him a 6.5.
I guess I'll give mine before we go to the days this time. I think you're right. 6.5 works. He was one of the bright spots of the season where you think you might actually have a player there. So I think definitely 6.5. The Daves.
I mean,
You want to
he's
go
20.
first?
Yeah, I mean he's 22, and he came into a shit storm. Like Dash said, no leadership, and he showed just like I kind of said with Gatti Kalulu, not the best dude out there. In his case, he's young and he can learn. Throw him in here, gave him some minutes as those minutes came along. He came along 6.5. I mean, across the
Yeah.
board here.
Yeah, for me as well, 6.5. But honestly, what I would do with him, because I think he is way better when he concentrates on playing defense instead of trying to go forward, which he's doing sometimes. Like, he's not a great passer, he's not a great box crasher, his crosses aren't the best. But what he has is size. Like, he's 192 tall. Sorry, in the metric system.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Um,
we
like
are
he's a
outnumbered
very
today.
tall guy. Honestly, I would try to turn him like into a center back, full stop.
yeah, I agree with that.
I think
I think he
he's a
needs more
versatile
time in
piece
it.
for sure.
But
Yeah.
he's definitely a keeper for me. Like he's valued at 15 million, which is kind of good progress within one season.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it's
Scored
not
he's a
some
bad,
very
goals.
easy.
honestly.
I think he's a very
I
easy
mean
pick.
Yeah.
that's good as well. Played 28 games for me. He's an easy keep.
28, eh? That's not bad for him.
No, it was really good progress for him as a kid, and I think he's only going to grow from here. So definitely one of the bright spots to come out of a very crappy season for Juve. Are we gonna rate Cabal and Ruhi? Did they even get minutes like in the past several games?
I would
No,
I
no.
would pass.
Well, let's at least say
he's
keep or sell. Let's do that at least.
I think he's keepable. I think just based off of previous body of work, and I think what he could contribute and the amount you paid for him. I think again as a depth piece, I would keep him. Try to relaunch him, see what he does. Great interceptor of the ball, and we got to see it for those. And German Dave and myself, when we did the preview video for him, that's kind of what we thought was, very good at intercepting the ball high up the pitch, and is able to kind of give you that first lateral pass, and that's what he was doing. Unfortunately, Columbia cannot keep their pitches in order, and he tore his ACL there. But um, I think he's keepable. I think he's still young. You could relaunch him, see what he does. I mean, 12 million. There's not much of a loss you could take on him.
What do the rest of you guys think? Keep or sell?
I mean, I agree with everything Dash said. I think that he did enough to get another shot, another season.
Okay. Dave's.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I suppose you give him another shot, recover him. You can't get rid of him at this point, technically, right?
Right.
Nobody's gonna buy him, so yeah, recover him and give him another shot. Like,
I agree.
I guess we're not giving numbers, yeah. Sure.
But keep as well for me 100%. I think he's good enough to be our rotational left back. Like I didn't like him as a left center back in the three-man backline, or what Motta tried in preseason, playing him as a left center back. I didn't like that. But like he has stamina. Like he can go back and forth on the left side like the whole game. He's not the greatest crosser. Like he doesn't have those offensive talents. But he is very good defensively. Like I would keep him as a fullback. Absolutely.
I would probably be the only one who would offload. So you guys win. All right.
I mean, we
Ruhi.
wouldn't be upset though, right? That's the
Yeah,
thing.
I
We
would-
wouldn't be upset if
Yeah,
I would offload. I think you can offer some spaces to some people who are going to have more UA DNA, and these are the pieces to me that are just extra guys that are sitting there who you could actually build the UA DNA. You don't need guys like Cabal, in my opinion, from the outside looking in. Like, is he good enough? And this is where people get locked, in my opinion, of like, oh, we should keep him because his value is good. Well, you just keep doing this with too many of the guys, you eventually just don't change the team, right? So I would not keep him. That's my
For me,
take.
though, I technically agree with you. My only thing is, I think we have other positions that are more important to address. So let's say we are able to keep Cambias on the left side. I think Cabal is a good rotational piece next to that. If we get player X on the right side, I think Savona's sorry, I would turn him center back. But then I don't know, Kalulu as an option as the right back is good for me as well. But then I would get a new starter as a right back, for example. That is for me more important than address the
like a backup
backup left
position.
back.
Oh, you definitely
kinda
have a
need to
bigger
know-
fish
That's
to
what I
fry,
mean.
for sure.
That's why I would keep. That's why I would keep a Cabal.
Yeah,
It's one
right.
of those, like, if he had a, depending on your coach, right? Like, it could be one of those things. If he doesn't fit the setup, then you have to kind of move him on. He's just
Yeah.
he's on the border. He's edging.
He's hedging.
I'm edging. All right, this is next is Ruhi. What would you guys do with this guy?
I
Gone,
don't know
so
if you can rate him because there's not much film on him.
There isn't a whole lot.
But would you keep him or would you get rid of him?
He
would loan
played
him.
less than Cabal, so if we don't
Yeah.
rank Cabal, we can't
I would
we can't
loan
rank.
him.
I like
If
loan.
anything,
Yeah.
loan.
He's 21. I would
Maybe.
loan.
Yeah, he could probably use the loan.
well,
He's Swedish too, right? Like, it's one of those guys. Is he came out through the youth? I get it, but at the same time, it's like, does he have that
You know-
DNA? Is he here
Yeah.
for the team?
You know, funny thing that we're talking about loaning him, and he's young. We didn't even put Adzich on the name or on the list, which is hilarious.
Because
we'll
we
get there.
we
yeah.
don't do minors. Yeah.
I know. It was a joke. It was a joke.
All right, let's
Because
move
Juve fans
to
apparently.
a person who probably
I think
that
everyone's like
did
that
it
now. I
quite
think
well.
everyone likes young players now. It's just like everyone's playing FIFA, and they see the potential rating or whatever. I don't know.
Well, and you know, kind of to add to your point there, it's everyone's trying to emulate Moneyball without understanding what Moneyball is. Like, I watched a video today and someone referenced Moneyball, and I'm like, dude, you're European. You don't even like you never even watched the Oakland Athletics to even understand what Moneyball is. You're like, oh yeah, you know, we got 16 and 17-year-olds and we're doing a Moneyball. It's like that's not what Moneyball is.
There was a Brad Pitt movie. Maybe he watched it.
No, they probably didn't because it's baseball. Nobody watches baseball unless you actually are into it.
This is very
This
true.
is true.
Probably guilty, I suppose.
This is true.
Now, most of my
read the
buddies
book, too.
grew up playing baseball.
you're
so,
a Blue Jays fan.
All right, Locatelli. Let's
Juicy one.
start with German Dave.
Hands down, 8. So far, I'm not going to spoil, but so far he is the best ranked one. For me, it's an 8. He, in my opinion, we learned that he's the best leader in our team. Like, one that actually we thought that was a bit out of character at first, but the more the season progressed, like, he was screaming at the other players, he was dictating the midfield. Like, he's still not the greatest, like, he still doesn't have the best offensive output, but I think that's not what we expect of him anymore. Like, he keeps everything clean defensively, and honestly, with that back line that we had around the end of the season with Kelly, Vega,
yeah,
Kalulu before he got injured, and Gotti here and there, dude, with how he was able to keep that clean, like, more often than not, is just incredible. Like, he was everywhere on the pitch. Like, when I mostly Dave did the watch-alongs alone, but when I was there, I always made sure to show his heat maps because he was literally everywhere on the pitch, like lots of orange all around the pitch. So he is an incredible fighter, and credit for that for me, hands down 8.
Nice. Canadian Dave.
I have this feeling that we might be overrating him this year because he was the shining spot in a very dismal season and squad.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to. I want to take an edge off what German Dave had here. Like,
You want to
Eight-
end the
Oh.
edge. Dang.
eight's yeah,
Oh.
eight's a little bit too much. He's had a great season and he had to really come into this one as well as the leader in particular. But what he showed those last couple games, I think he took the armband in that case. But once again, it also shows the state of where the club is currently, and we're not at that top level. And Locatelli, as great as he is, technically as a leader in so many different facets of his game, we should technically, as Juve, have somebody a step above that, being our captain, with a little bit more skill, a little bit more just leadership abilities. And that's not to say Locatelli. I mean, he came back so hard from last season to this season, and the trajectory is still going forward, and I love it. And maybe next year he is absolutely that guy, but right now I'm gonna just take a notch off at a 7.5.
Right. Dash.
All right. I'm gonna go with an 8. Reason why is more so from last season. He wasn't timid this year as he was last season. Because I know that was one of the things where German Dave and myself were kind of yelling when we did like a breakdown of him, that Bremer was more assertive or more aggressive than he was in the midfield, and Bremer was the center back. So, like, from that perspective, I could give him that. Again, the reason why I'm giving him an 8 is because he was just consistent. Was the only player that was just consistent when he was on the
Very
pitch. Like,
consistent.
obviously he'd have like a gaff or two, but again, captain consistency, and then that's where I kind of look at it as. Spoiler alert: I think Thuram is probably going to be my highest rated player here, but um,
I said no spoilers, man.
sorry, too late. Well, he's the next person
Only
over.
edging.
I
Got
still
edge
think
onto that.
I still think with an actual talented midfield, I think Locatelli is your fourth man. If you have a talented 3, I think he's a perfect fourth man. Just because again, he's not a regista even this season, doesn't have that great ball facilitation. As an 8, offensively he's kind of as a 6, I could see it just because of the defensive work rate, but he doesn't have a motor like a McKennie or Thuram would have. But again, I think just being consistent this year, in a year where there hasn't been consistency from a lot of players this season, it is going to be a little bit of an overrate, but still, I got to give him bonus points. He took the penalty the last game, said, "Give me the effing ball, and I'll take it," and he scores at top corner. So I'm going to give him style points for that, or aura points, as the kids would call it. So I'm just going to settle for an 8 this year.
8 works. Anth, what you think?
Aura points. Well, I mean, I agree with everything that's been said. I'm gonna put him at an 8 just because I think that's been a massive overachievement, and he stepped up when we needed someone to step up. I've never been a big Locatelli fan. I absolutely agree that he's a fourth center back, or he should be a fourth center midfielder on a proper Juventus. But we don't have a proper Juventus, and in spite of a lot of money being spent in the midfield, he was the guy that was there, week in, week out. Made some bonehead plays, of course, but he put in a lot of work, and yeah, I mean, I liked what he did this year. I was proud of him. I was impressed by him, but yeah, he is what he is in my opinion. I think that he's somebody who comes off the bench and supports the team. I don't think he's someone The fact that he was arguably our best player this year, that says everything you need to know about the state of our team.
That was what I was gonna say. I
And
think that it
also,
shows you how far UVA's fallen.
36 out of 38 games, by the way.
Yeah.
It's absolute tank.
Locatelli is
that's awesome.
consistent. He's solid. He's good. I mean, and it for me it does show how far UVA has fallen right now. With that, Locatelli was out and out, in my opinion, probably the best player on the team this whole season. He definitely has the most captain potential right now from what I'm seeing. There's nobody else on the team a great leader besides from what I've seen from him. He's still Locatelli. I don't think he has massive quality, but he's got enough. As a couple people have said so far, on a great Juve, he would be a backup. He would be like your first backup for sure. But I think if you are going to start him and replace a midfielder, he could work in a double pivot because he can do. Because in a double pivot, you got to have 2 guys who can play some defense, and he can definitely do that. So, I think he's an 8, and for me, he's my player this season for Juve. All right, let's move on to Thuram. Dash, why don't you get us kicked off here, since you kind of you ruined the edge, and you told us what you wanted. So
I did.
Give it to us.
I did. I'm gonna say a 10. Just because again, offensively great. Offensively
We're giving him
great.
10 today.
Oh yeah.
10?
I
I
like
was
10. I like
10s.
extremes because no one ever does 10s or 1s. Then what's the damn point?
Damn.
I like it. Well, good. Give him a 10.
Exactly. I am on a menace
Mamma mia.
run
Oh,
now, starting
he
with
went
this.
over the edge.
Yeah.
Oh
Alright.
yeah,
He put it in
I
his
blew
mouth.
it in your face. Ha! No, but
Pop that sucker right in there.
oh yeah. So again, just from goals, assists, physicality, like he is everything that people was hoping that Rabiot would be. Big, strong center midfielder that can carry the ball coast to coast, can put the ball in the net, can assist, can defend, can facilitate play out of the back. Like Thuram is the most complete midfielder that we have on the roster. And again, for the price tag that we got him, for him to kind of hit the ground running in a sense, I think again he effectively saved Juve's season. He prolonged that Empoli Coppa Italia match longer than it should have gone because of the equalizer. Like he's got moments where he's been able to do some awesome things, break the edge, as we're kind of using the theme of this show.
Yes.
For me, I think he was exceptional from the midfield. He is a bona fide 6 or an 8.
Anth, what'd you think?
Well, I'm going to give him an 8, but I think that he he's what I wanted him to be. I think he's going to keep getting better. He's definitely someone that can be here for a long time. Um, his dad's pretty cool. His brother's pretty good. He's got good genes. There's a lot of good midichlorian count in his semen. So that's that's already pretty good for Juventus. We need that. I think he's the only good
The force
signing
is
that
strong with it.
the
Force is
force
You
is
strong.
gotta
strong.
call it
with
Juve
the Rock
Yeah.
Juve
fan.
chlorian. That's what you got to do. It just
Juve-
to do chlorian.
Juve chlorine count. Yeah, if he's in front of the Jedi Council, they would keep too.
That's high
But
Uvichlorians. Okay.
yeah, yeah, but no, I mean he's his defending. He's still young and playing some big games, I guess, and certainly made some mistakes. But those are going to go away with him. Or I mean, they'll get fewer. But
Oh yeah.
he's one of our best at driving the ball forward. But I don't think
Mm.
that's close. And yeah, his presence. The most important thing about him is his presence. He has a lot of presence. You always notice him. He's always there doing something good, and that's a good sign. So no, I give him an 8. And yeah, I think that's the only signing that June can be proud of, even though he didn't really scout him or earn that. But we'll give it to him.
Yeah, no, I think Thuram was probably you guys' best signing by far of the season. Talk about just in both quality and cost. He definitely
Potential.
Juve's
Well, he got
best work.
potential.
Yep, exactly. He has massive potential too. He's versatile as well. I think if you had like a little stronger midfield and you kept a guy like Rovella to play that regista role and you ran
Oh.
him with Locatelli and Thuram, you'd have a very, very stout midfield. Strong that can compete with
Yeah.
anybody. Yeah, I would go 8 as well. German Dave.
So, since I was edging saying Locatelli was my best ranked so far, Thuram is my best ranked Juventus player, but I will not go for a 10, not even for a 9. I
No,
am
you're not
8 and
nuts.
a half. No. I am going for an 8.5.
Like it?
Look, I'm ranking him a bit over Locatelli because uh, he he exceeded my expectations, and my expectations for him were high. Like, I watched him a bit in France and that Olympic team before they went there, like their pre-Olympic games basically, and how he was carrying the ball was incredible. And then I went to the preseason game of Juventus versus Nuremberg, and when I watched him live, he is a specimen of a human being that is like actually crazy. Like
Sounds like
he
you're
is
edging
built
right
like a
now.
Yeah, that's
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, dude. I'm about to come. No,
It's getting spicy.
he was really incredible. And honestly, if he gets just a bit of space and the speed that he can catch, like how he carries the ball is incredible. I'm not giving him a 10 because like his passing and being involved in the overall offensive game still lacks a bit. A bit of the defensive work needs to get cleaned up.
Mhm.
But overall, like 4 goals, 5 assists, 35 out of 38 games played in Serie A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is for me 8.5.
Consistent too. Canadian Dave.
Yeah, he was my top player as well. Can't really say a whole lot more than you guys. Obviously, I'm a half point down. I'm the stingy one tonight, so it's an 8.
All right. Well, the overall average then we had that kind of 10 was the wild one that threw it all
That was
off, but I like it.
fascinating.
So that's gonna
That's
push it to
nuts.
about
I
an
think we're giving him a
8.5, maybe
niner.
9 exactly.
Give him a niner.
He goes to
Put
a 9.
in there. Yeah.
That's the
Whoa,
swing state.
let's
Dash is in the
go.
swing state right now.
He is the swing state,
Oh
but
yeah,
he pulled some serious heft
mixed
there.
candy. Exactly. It's that dash aura.
I like it. The aura, yes, that's the new aura.
Let us start with Canadian Dave on this one, McKenny.
I love this guy. I think he's been treated like trash the past few years. I hope they actually reward him this offseason, give him what he deserves. And he's not even asked. Well, I mean, he was asking for $3 million. I mean, sure, that was a little hefty. But honestly, at this point, I think you got to play ball with him in the boardroom and get those contracts signed up, because this guy, I mean, he's what old school American athleticism is all about, and he has it. And I'm the Canadian one in the group here, right? Like I'm not waving the American banner, but this is like the greatest generation, 1940s, 1950s baby boomer American mentality that this kid's got. He's just doing it, waving around a Harry Potter
He's
wand
got a
when he
job,
scores
he just
goals.
does it. No?
Yeah, if we're talking Juve DNA, this guy's he's got it, 100%. Is he the best technically now? No, he's not. There's a lot of holes in his game. I understand that, and that's why he's not necessarily my number one guy. That's still thuram, because he's got that drive, the grinta, and the skill. McKenny, you got to take that back. Feed him a cheeseburger, 7.5.
Boom. German Dave.
I absolutely agree with 7.5. I think he was better than Gotti, for example, who you ranked at 7, but I wouldn't classify him higher as the Locatelli and Thurams. So 7.5 is for me like bang perfect. Like when he's on the pitch, he's always fighting, slide tackling, bossing other people off the ball, still making his runs towards the touchline and then passing it into the box. 4 assists still this season, which is good. But man, like still his passing leaves a lot to be desired.
It does, but
Like his
here and there
overall
he
offensive
comes up with like a little
contribution.
fancy play, and he does surprise you sometimes with
Yeah, yeah,
the
like
skill that
he has
he has.
all. Yeah, no, he has that one genius moment
Yes.
that yeah, that puts it to me for on that 7.5. But overall, like he had also lots of mistakes, cost us a couple of goals. But even then, like scored 2, assisted 4. I think that levels out 7.5.
I think he's super versatile. I like 7.5. That's what I'm gonna go with. He's one of my favorite players on Juve. Any job you give him, even if he's way out of position, he's gonna do at least a serviceable job, if not a good job. And here and there, he has an absolutely great game. So I think he's reasonable for you to keep. He's got a good mentality mindset. He's gonna work for any coach. I would definitely do a 7.5, and I think so far we're basically keeping everybody on this kind of beginning page here. So, but let's go. Anth next.
Well, here's the problem with McKenny. We've got so many players on the team that are average, that are, McKenny's one of them that stepped up and had a good year. I love that he, plays wherever he's asked, and he plays well. He fights. I like McKenny. I do. But how many of these guys do you keep when we need a complete overhaul? Maybe he'd be the one that I would keep. But I mean, we had just look at the team. Gatti, Kalulu, Locatelli, Savona, Cambiaso, Cabal. It's all average guys. And for every excellent play he's made this year, and every time I've been completely surprised by his ability, there's also long stretches of the game where I'm just like, dude, this isn't a guy who would play on Juve's of the past. I'd keep him as a backup, I guess, right now, because we got, a lot of stuff to worry about. And I do like McKenny, and, his his man body is proper. But I give him a 7. Yeah, I think he played well when called upon, and he definitely puts in a hard shift. But we at some point need to get rid of guys like this and move on and get guys that are better. So
Good point.
Spoiler
that's
alert,
my hot
but
take.
maybe a couple of the next one will be my
We're,
cells.
All of
yeah,
them.
we're gonna
All
have
of
some
them.
low rankings.
Dash, what do you think about McKenny?
I think great motor, great versatility. I'll go with the guys and give him a 7.5, just because, like, for example, last season, right, almost pretty much double digits in goal contributions last season. This season, a little bit of a step back on that, but I think again, McKenny as your fill the holes kind of guy is where I think he thrives, right? If you have the two other positions of your midfield set, McKenny is your fill the gaps guy. Again, he's got a great air game. He's physical. He's aggressive. Um, kind of to what Primo was saying about, is he going to start in the UAs of the past? No, and Locatelli wouldn't either, right?
Right.
Or I think having, for me, I've always kind of viewed McKenny as the sixth man, right? For all of our basketball friends. Um, but like that's kind of what his role is, and I think that's where McKenny would amount to in his whole career. I think it's just again, that's what he is. He's the sixth man. I don't see him ever really being a starter on any elite team or anything like that, but he's one of those sixth men that you need because like you'll be up in matches. And again, if you are an elite team or a top team where you're playing 60 plus matches a year, where you're playing again your Leches, you're playing your Empolis, where a guy like McKenny would in theory thrive. And that's where I think he fits. Are we that team? No, obviously not. But at some point, and it's kind of what Ant's saying, like we might have to sell him because we're not really at that point where we can really keep a lot of sixth men because it's in theory right now, is it him? Is it Locatelli or who is it? But I do see the versatility and I see what McKenny offers. Again, if McKenny doesn't renew at 3 million and he wants 5 million or $6 million, I think you let him walk.
Yeah, if he wants like a huge
I think
salary.
3
right?
million is I think 3 million is about the max that I would think would be reasonable.
I agree with that.
I think we had a lot of keeps, but maybe this next section will be the exact opposite. We'll start with Douglas
Yeah.
Luiz, and then we'll go German Dave to start this one off.
Look, this is a hard one for me, pause, because Douglas Luiz is a player I watched almost like every single one of his Premier League games at Aston Villa, and he was mesmerizing to watch. Like, he was actually incredible to watch. Getting the ball deep, running with it, passing it, quick decision making, banging in free kicks like for fun. I have no idea what happened to him, man. I think the deal that was presented to us was a good deal technically, but man, what we got out of him, it's still honest. Honestly, I don't know whether it was just down to Motta, whether it was down to himself, like he had injuries, the robbery. I don't know whether he is just down in confidence or whether it is an overall like not learning the Serie A style. I have no idea. Look, if an offer comes in, he's an like obvious sell for me because like with that valuation, if you can recuperate something, you do that.
Mhm.
But I would like him to work so much. But man, what he has done for us, I'm sorry, but it's a
Sounds like it's a sell for you, but
4.5.
you'd be willing to see him do one more season to see if he could become and rediscover that.
Yeah, yeah. But if an offer comes in, like of course
Yeah,
you take that. It would be irresponsible to keep a player that hasn't shown you anything.
Mm-hmm. What would your rating be for the
Unfortunately, but
season?
4.5, unfortunately.
5. What about you, Dash?
I wouldn't even give him a rating at all. There's just not enough body of work for him. Like
Ash,
I don't
he
even
played. Take a guess how many games he played.
20.
I know he didn't play high minutes, but he still played 19 games. That qualifies for rating, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I thought you were about to say for a medal, and I was like, there's an inside joke. No, yeah, then I'm gonna go with a 4. I didn't see anything out of it, and And he's probably one of the players where I kind of want him to get relaunched under a coach that is, accredited. Just because, look, Unai Emery had him playing some elite level ball, and he was progressing under the couple of years that he was under Unai Emery. And Unai Emery is a very tactical coach. Some might say the Spanish Allegri in a sense. So if he is able to thrive under Unai Emery, who plays more shithouse ball than Max could ever frolic at the mouth, I kind of want to see what he does under a actual coach with structure. I'm sorry, Moto wasn't that guy. Tudor is sure as hell nowhere near that guy. You know, if if the stars align and Juve are able to get Conte, I would not be shocked if Conte utilizes him just because of his ability to move the ball linearly and vertically. From what I saw at Villa, I could see him very well thriving in a very counterattacking ball playing style that Conte can employ. So I would see, again, if you were to get a structured or an accredited coach, I would keep him. If you get, another caretaker, or if you're stuck with Tudor for another season, I think you sell him. I think you move him because
Fair.
they're not going to get it out of him.
That's pretty fair. And Anthony, what you think?
Well, I was very against the signing right away. I don't like this guy at all. I mean, I think he has much more ability than Coop Miners. Like this guy actually has technical
yeah.
ability,
Yeah.
vision. Like he could work. He's slow, he's lazy, and unlike England, there's not a lot of space in Italy, especially against these teams that clam up. So I don't think he was ever going to be a good fit. And yeah, I think if you had a guy like Conte here, that's absolutely that's a whole different ballgame. But we don't, and I don't even know if we're going to, based on what based on the rumors today. So I mean, I think he's an absolute sell. I give him a 1.
All right, we got a 1, we had a 10, and we've
He
had a
blew
1.
ass. He didn't. He had some really sweet passes. Like I think he had more better passes than Coop Miners did on the season, and he played a lot less. But he didn't do anything. So what's a 1? I don't know.
Yeah, a 1, we got a 10.
2.
I like it. We have a couple outsiders here. Canadian Dave, what do you think here?
Alicia left him. Why would I keep him around?
Right.
I mean, she knows what a toxic relationship's all about. She's looking after number 1. So fuck it. He can leave. Honestly, I 4-1. I don't know. I'll 2.5. Give him a 2.5. I don't care.
I like 2.5, but that's kind of where I'm at. I'm at about a 2.5 with him. I think there's some like legit skill with him. I think everybody can see that, but he just may not work here. I could see it maybe on a different team that requires a little bit less of him to kind of have more of that like Juve style. Like he might work somewhere else, but I don't know if he's gonna really work on Juve. I would sell, but I would also not be surprised if he had a really good season next season under a but I would sell. But let's go 2.5. We'll go in between those ones. Now, Coop Miners. Let's let Ant start off. I know he's your favorite player, so we'll start with this one.
I give him a 1.
You the same rating?
Maybe a 0.
Oh,
Maybe a 0. Yeah, this was a guy I was very adamant about. I did not want him on the team. He's a win more guy. He's he's a guy that if you have 10 players perfectly in sync, you got a well-oiled machine, you can bring him on. He has that's special person strength. He can kick the ball hard and he can grab fish out of the brook with his bare hands. But I don't think he's not the kind of guy that you're going to give the ball to. He's not the leader that you want him to be. He's not the talisman. He's certainly not the focal point that Thiago Motta was trying to make him. But I mean, would he, if we had an excellent team, if he went to like Inter Milan and played with Çalhanoğlu and Barella, sure, of course.
yeah, he probably be okay.
Then again, I think I might survive on that. I put the cigarette in my mouth and all, I might be able to hang. But I know I think he's a win more player. I think he was the wrong guy at the wrong time.
All right, Dash.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with what Ant's saying. I'm gonna just say a 2.5. Luxury signing. He's a luxury piece. He is the cherry on top. Just because there's a lot of things that he needs. And again, this is more on a gaff on Gentoli because it's like, hey, Coop Myers plays well with a proper number 9, and we don't even know what the fuck that is with Deuce on. So, way to go there, genius. But Yeah, I just don't think that Coop Myers would make sense in this team. And I know German Dave is going to probably say, but for 60 million. But again,
Oh, yeah.
just I
It's
think it's
craziness.
unfortunate.
Speaking of the man himself, let's go German Dave.
One of the most disappointing. Oh, sorry. After Vlahovic, the most disappointing transfer we did.
There you go. I was going to blow my lid.
Dude, I didn't want him in the first place. It didn't make any sense to me. Because if you think who our coach became, he works literally in just one playing style.
Exactly.
And the Dutch national team and Gasperini played it. For Italy, it was a very, very high pressing, like that he played at Atalanta. And he has the stamina to do that. He was always like the first like pressing station, even be like in front of Scamacca. He was the first presser. But dude, he's not a great ball player. He is not great at the ball.
What would you give him as a rating?
The goals 3 at most, because he at least has like 3 and 3, like 6 GA. But goddamn, for 60 million, man.
60 million,
I
baby.
do it. There it is. There it
Dude, it's
is.
crazy.
We-
It's
It is
craziness.
crazy.
Dude, that's 10 million per goal contribution. Think about
Oh
that.
my god.
Yeah. Wild. Canadian Dave, what do you
Can't
think?
wait
Where
for
you weigh in on this this player?
I mean, similar sentiments in that I didn't really know why he was coming. I was with this whole like trust the process. This was something that seemed that it was essential for the project, and I was like, okay, new project. I don't know who the hell am I to say, and maybe I am somebody to say, and we all are somebody to say because we're
Yeah,
all like,
absolutely.
what the hell's going on here? Because I mean, he sucked. It was abysmal. It was, and I don't even know who I hate most in this situation, Louise or Coop Miners, because on one hand, like we said, they are great players when put in a great situation. But when put with Juve in 24-25, I'm gonna give another 2.5.
2.5. I'm gonna go with a 1.5. I'm gonna go even closer to Ants. So I'm gonna bring that average down, so maybe he gets like a 2 here overall, because I think he's worse than Luis. I think he was, in my opinion, the most disappointing signing of the whole season, not just for money spent, but just for what he brought to the game. I think he was actually a net negative every time he played. I think, and you could say with
Yeah.
his goals and assists, but I think he actually harmed the team with his presence, which is very rare for a player to do. So I got to give him real low.
I agree.
So we'll average that out at about a 2. And I think
Yes.
would we all sell? I guess I didn't ask about that one. Would we all sell?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
We got
If,
oh
if
yeah.
it made
Alright.
financial sense, of course, yes, he would have to.
I don't think we
So
can.
what
Nothing's gonna make sense
my
financially
thing
with
is,
that guy.
what actually do we need him for? We have a ball carrier in Thuram. We have McKennie that can do that a bit, like as a backup. We have Locatelli that, whether we like it or not, like we will not get a better 6/5.
You're right. You don't really
So
need him.
what?
Even if he plays cam or second
So
striker,
so
which he did at
so
Atalanta sometimes, you got
so,
Yildiz.
and he's not a cam either. Like he's not great at the ball. What do we need him for?
You needed him for the
I don't
272.
no, fucking Giuntoli needed him, wanted him.
You need him for that wooden leg so he can pound ball hard.
I mean, goddamn.
Yeah.
Look-
If
No,
we
I mean,
get that offer, goodbye, brother.
yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
I
mean,
I
at
think we
least
all.
Luis has like some kind of skill there you could talk about. I didn't see
Yeah.
much of that from Poop.
Like
And
Luis at least like showed like in the cup in the games that he played, he had that half turn, the one pass after that. Like he didn't progress the ball a lot or whatever.
You can see there's a
But at
player
least
in there with
he
Luis.
he showed that there's talent in him. But man,
Yeah. Boop gets the worst player award for now. Yildiz. Let's actually go right back to German Dave.
Yildiz, I would go 7.5 as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a great season, but not a bad one either. 11 GA for a 20-year-old, or started the year, I believe, 19 year old. So I don't mind his output. Can be better, but could be worse as well. Like, he is young, and honestly, the club put all the burden on him, calling him Starboy, doing all the commercials and all of that. And if you think about the pressure we unnecessarily put on him, I think he still performed good. Like, he is couple of times like head through the wall, which I don't like. We had couple of players that did that, and I criticized them for that. So it would be hypocritical to say that he didn't do that. But in the end, he's still a kid. He's 20 right now. His value is still 45 million, like on transfer market. And he didn't harm himself, at least. Like, I think he had a good season, so he will be like, yeah, around where McKenny is, 7.5.
Canadian Div.
Yeah, he had some ups and downs, some brilliant moments, of course. Jumping out of the seat, elation, and then he had the stinkers of a game, right? But for the most part, he was steady. He was rock steady. Again, just like Locatelli, those past couple games as well. Like you can tell he wanted it, and then he cared. That last game, man, he was absolutely gassed at the end of it. So that mentality, man, we need it. We got it. I would say under normal circumstances, it was a 7. Like overall throughout the season, he performed. He got a 7. But with that extra pressure, by making him this NASA spokesperson and throwing the 10 and making him tell us that he loves ADP and everything about him, and then he writes to him in his journal at night. You know,
So
like he
excruciating,
still handled it.
Yeah.
So bad.
dude. Yeah, he did like a celebration after he scored too. I feel bad for the kid. You know, first
Yeah.
and everyone's going crazy over him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just for that, he gets an extra notch up to 7.5.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's a lot to deal with.
Dish.
Can you imagine how just corny of a fan base Juve has when they're like jizzing at the fact of a 19-year-old doing a Del Piero celebration? Like, good lord, that's the epitome of the problem of this club.
100%.
Social
I
media.
I'm gonna go with the 7.5. I think he is a 10 to 11 goal contribution player. Juve's PR and marketing team makes him look like he's a 20, unfortunately, but he's not. It just there's rawness in his play style and the way that he thinks about the game. Like, yes, he's got flashes. Unfortunately, he's gonna get comped to Yamal just because of age, right? And he is nowhere near or anywhere close to what Yamal can produce or contribute. Which is, again, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm kind of against the notion that Juve are hyping him up as a Yamal, and the content creators hype him up as a Yamal level player in a sense where he isn't. Again, he's a early blooming winger. Where personally, I would love to have seen him hit 15 goal contributions this year because he was a starter and because he started off well under Max last year. Unfortunately, I think he underperformed, and again, it's part and two to Malta and as well as Tudor as well. So I'm just gonna say again, I think 7.5 more than enough for his rating.
Kent, what you think?
I mean, I think he's had I think he's had a pretty mixed season. I like Yildiz. At the end of last year too, I thought he was one of our better players that stepped it up, especially in the final 2 games. In the final game of the season, that was the one where they played with Montero, right, with the 3-4-3. It was him and Case. I think he was excellent in that game, and I think that spilled over into the new season. It's a shame that they put all this hype on him. That aside, I you know I would have liked to see him play inside closer to Vlahovic more
That's what I was
often.
gonna say.
I think keeping him out so wide, wingers are a dime a dozen. I totally agree with Dash on that. We've been saying that for years. And I think he can be more than a winger. I do. I think that's what they should be trying to breed him into to get more value out of him. And I think that if you put Yildiz in a side that's got their shit together, has talent around it, has a proper coach, and there are those things do exist. It's been a long time since we've seen one, but that does exist. I think he would be way ahead of where he is now. I don't care about how he's being compared to Yamal. He's a different player entirely. But just for Yildiz alone, I think he'd be a year ahead in his development cycle if he was playing in a proper side. So I'd like to see us actually try to build something properly, so players like this can actually progress correctly. I think it was a patchy year of progression, so I give him a 7.
Yeah,
I've always kind of envisioned him as a Lautaro-esque role, right?
Yes.
Where he's playing off a bigger striker, and
second
that's where I think it
striker.
would be ideal for him. Yeah.
I definitely want to see him move inside. I see him as more of a second striker. He does not have blistering pace. He's not slow, but he's crafty. He can be creative. He has a great shot. I think you need to put him a little closer to goal as that second striker. I actually would rate him the highest of anybody. So the average probably averaged out about a 7.5. I would have given him an 8. I think a lot of weight was put on his shoulders. You expected a 19-year-old kid to carry the attack this year, and he did at certain times. I think that's kind of embarrassing for you to have done. And he showed up in massive games. Like he actually showed up in massive games. And if he doesn't have the performance he had in the last game, UA doesn't make Champions League. So I mean, and he's one of the kids who actually has grit on this team. He's definitely got the Juve DNA. He's got fight in him. He's got grit in him, and that's a rarity and a commodity on this team. I'd give him an 8, but I'd be obviously the average is 7.5.
I like that.
Would you guys? I think we went over this. So Luis sell, Kumar sell in general. Yildiz, you guys would all keep.
Yeah.
I would
Unless
sell
a
if
big-
you get an offer. Unless you get if someone throws 80 to 100 million, I would take it.
And
I
that's
agree
hard to
with that.
pass up. It's hard to pass up.
Only if it's outrageous. Otherwise, you keep him. Like his value will not sink. Like if his floor is 11 GA, that's not bad. Like you can keep that and work with that and steadily work it up the older he gets. But if you get something outrageous, I'm sorry, but that is where we get our profit or the money where we can rebuild the team. Like if we are not able to sell Luis and Koopman as an example, like that is where the big money is. So
Yeah,
You're not
and
ready
you
to
don't
first.
want to exactly. You don't want to run into a layout situation, right? Where like you had 80 to
don't
90
want to
million
sell
off the
too late,
table,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I don't mean to hit to home with that one, but yeah.
Oh, that's for him. Yeah, I mean, he's a bit of a different breed. He's definitely like a straight up winger, whereas I feel like that Yildiz could be a different type of player. But yeah, I agree with you guys. If you get a huge offer, like an outrageous one, you sell. If it's anything like reasonable, I don't think I would. I think Juve needs to keep some of their players just to build their core. Conceição. Let's actually go with Ant. You haven't started one in a bit.
Well, I mean, this is the anti-winger podcast, and I am not a huge fan of paying 40 million for wingers. I think his loan fee was ridiculous, as they all were. You just look down south and see how what Mana's paying for loans, and it's it's hay and straw for what he's getting these guys loaned in for, and we're paying top dollar. So we loaned him in for a lot of money. He's a tiny, one-footed, cut inside winger. That's absolutely the epitome of dime a dozen in 2024, 25. They're literally everywhere. He had some good games. He had some good performances. I like he has a good grimace.
Yes.
He has a good dive. Those are important in today's game. I give him a 4 though. I don't really. He had some good moments, but otherwise he was just he's placed his head down. He doesn't he doesn't have any vision. I don't see him as being a great player. I don't see him as having a ton of upside. But he's quick. He's a good dribbler. He's got some skills. Good little fella.
German Dave.
For me, he is like the epitome of average. So it's a 5. Look, we paid 10 million for the loan. Like with all the bonuses hit because we qualified for Champions League, and 10 million for loan for one season with 6 GA is bad business again.
That's bad.
But who's surprised? No, look, he is a small winger. He gets bossed off the ball the whole time. Fouls don't get called against him because the referee suspects a dive all the time, which he does a lot as well.
Yeah.
So he is head through the wall, and I don't like that, man. Like the amount of times that he loses the ball and then the opponent has an immediate counter attack. That's yeah, but still, like he kept us alive in that Leipzig game in the Champions League. Like he had a couple of goals here and there that helped us. Like he's not bad, but he's not good either. So that's why I say like bang average 5.
What you Dash?
He is a backup that we paid starter money for. That's kind of the epitome of Conceição, where I've always kind of thought of him as a backup option, a nice change of pace winger, where again your opponent's defense is tired, you bring him in and he stretches them wide. Again, it's more on the business aspect of how he was acquired, which is again not really on him. But yeah, he's an average winger, right? He's a change of pace winger. I'm just gonna go with German Dave and say a 5. Good moments, bad moments. It's again, he's a backup player, but unfortunately, we paid starter money for him.
It's fair. Canadian Dave, what you think?
Yeah, he got me really excited early on. Looking like we covered all these guys coming in, did dedicated videos for them all. He was the one that got me going the most. Like Coop Miners, whatever. I mean, Dougie, sure. But just Chico, watching Chico, I'm like, yes, I love it. And he showed up and he did that. And he made me jump out of the seat at RB Leipzig when we were down a man. And he got that goal. He got me going. He edged me, guys. And he pulled off.
But did he finish it,
Yeah.
or did you just get stuck on an edge?
He didn't finish. I'm blue balled.
Yeah.
Yep.
So because of those special moments, I'm bringing it up to a 5.5.
Okay. I would go in line with I guess most here and give him a 5. I think I kind of agree with Dash. He's a backup option who could start if you needed him to, and can give a really nice change of pace. I think he's 5. Keep or sell.
So
Yeah, move on.
Yep, I'll agree. Diego Gonzalez. We'll start with Canadian Dave.
He's a tricky one, I feel, because
Yeah.
I mean, another one when you looked at the tape beforehand, what you saw him do at Fiorentina the year before, you expected great things. He certainly underdelivered in that regard. So it's how do I feel? I feel like on one hand we need to give him a second chance, maybe with some sort of stability. But then at the same time, it's like there's a lot of money. And do I really want him?
What was the fee?
40.
40. And is that like an outright
No,
buy, or was it like an obligation?
I believe it was 5 million loan fee and 30 million buy obligation.
So about
So
35 total.
35
Yeah,
altogether,
it's-
I
I
believe.
And
think
it is an
bonuses
obligation,
put
huh?
up to 40.
Gotcha.
This is
Yeah,
honestly my
it's
my
40.
biggest. This is my biggest on the fence. So in terms of the keep or sell, I would say keep for now. Give him another chance. Give him some stability with a certain coach, because we know he has it. He's shown moments. It looked a little bit better under Tudor, towards the end. I wouldn't even say it looked better. He tried more. He was more into it mentally.
What would you
Well,
give him
I don't know,
as a rating too?
6.5. I'm gonna have to say, yeah. Sorry, I'm like still on the fence, but 6.5. Like it was
it's-
okay, but not.
He's
great.
a hard one.
Yeah.
Dash.
I'm gonna go with 5. I'm just gonna give him an average rating on it, just because again, just based off of the body of work. I don't. It's weird with him because it's like I saw the growth and progression at Fiorentina, and then he came here, right? Where it's like part of me is like maybe he's just not utilized properly, but at the same time, I despise any transfer that we get from Fiorentina because Fiorentina just strap us on and take us for a ride, and Juve's just stupid enough to go along with it. It's like they've never learned. Um, I don't know because like for example, it's weird because like for example, Argentina was using him as like a right back in a sense, where it's like Fiorentina was using him as a right winger / center forward. Like he's a more prolific McKennie in a sense, where it's like I don't know what he's good at, and you're paying 40 million for a player that you really don't know what he's good at in a sense. where it's like, is he an out-and-out winger? Is he playing the fullback role? Again, it really depends on who you would have as your next manager. But like again, if it's not gonna, I don't know if it's gonna happen. We don't have any guarantees. But like for example, I don't think he plays for Conte because he doesn't make sense because it's really really niche what he does, and for that amount of money that you dropped on him, because for in my eyes, 40 million is you're playing 38 games a season, guaranteed. Right? You can't spend that kind of money and not be sure on what you're getting from him. And for him, it's like I don't know, like where do you even fit here?
What would you give him overall as a rating?
5.
5. Go German Dave.
I was so excited for him. He was like next to Thuram, the player I was most excited for. I initially thought that the 35, yeah, plus whatever the bonuses will be at the end of the obligation are not a huge amount. Like it's not a great deal, but not a bad deal either. Was what I initially thought. And I wanted him to be a Politano type winger. That is what they desperately wanted from. Like he can score with his left foot. He can cut into the box. He's really good. Like as an inverted winger was what I at least thought. Now, I don't know whether it was Motta's theme. Like he cut off like all the players' creativity. Honestly, with how he tried to pressure them into his dumb 2-7-2 and only dump crosses into the box from the edge and not have them try to shoot or pass it like he wanted always those half space crosses, which I didn't like. I don't know whether it was the scheme or he regressed when he came here, but I expected so much more from him. Like I was really really excited. I give him a 6 because he still had impact on couple of games. 5 GA is not great, especially when you think we are about to pay 35 to 40. But I think I am still willing to give him another chance. Like as a right winger, and please don't play him out of position as a right back or right wing back. Like have him focus offensively. Like I am still convinced he can do that. But please, like, find a coach that can work with actual like wingers.
What do you think, Anthony?
I agree a lot with German Dave. I like Nico, and you know whenever I talk about signings, I know Mike and I talk a lot about this stuff, like 3 risk mitigating factors, because you can say what vision, technique, and mentality. Those are all things that you don't know if they're really going to translate, but 3 things absolutely do translate every time. Are they athletic? Do they have high work rate? And what's the price? So Nico Gonzalez is very athletic. He does have a high work rate. The price was terrible, terrible. But he can overcome that price if he wasn't so damn injury prone. And so like this was, everyone's bitching about, Chiesa being so injury prone. I agree. It's a very injury prone. You have to be there and fight for me if you're going to play. Okay. So Chiesa's too injury prone. He wants too much money. So then you bring in for a lot of money another guy who's very injury prone. Now this guy's less versatile. He's one-footed, cut inside winger, but you don't play with cut inside wingers. You play with guys who stay wide. So, what was he supposed to do? Then he got injured, came back. He always puts in a decent shift. I don't know if I don't know if he'll ever live up to the 40 million that we're going to spend for him, but I don't know. Another wrong player at the wrong time, in my opinion. But I didn't hate this signing. I just thought the price was way too much.
What would your
But,
rating be for him?
I think my rating for him would be a 4. I think he underachieved, and he was sat out half the freaking season.
Yes,
That doesn't mean I don't like him better than a 4, but that's just what I would give him, just based on performance alone.
We got a 6.5, a 6, a 4, and a 5. I think I'm gonna go closer to about a 5. I actually like this player. I think his average then between all of us was about a 5.5. But I think my issue with it is the injuries as well. Kind of what you're saying. I actually really like this player. I think he's got a very Juve style to him. Like he fights hard, he works hard. He said he's a good athlete. The big issue for him is injuries. I'm looking up his injury history right now. He's missed in 19 and 20, 29 days. 2021, 165 days. 22, 23, 99 days. This year, 80 days. He's injured every single season. And that's the biggest issue with him. If he was more consistent and got more game time because he played more, I think he'd actually be quite a good player. I like him a lot. But what can you do with those injuries? That's
You
hard.
gotta play.
Would you
You
guys
gotta
keep
play.
him or sell him? Because I feel like his value dropped significantly, so you might not make a bunch off him. So maybe I'd lean towards a keep. What do you guys think?
I don't think you could sell him because he's still on loan. So I think you have to relaunch him.
Yeah, you give him one more year. You guys all
Yes,
agree,
you
or
can.
would anybody say, "Hey, just take what you can get and
Yeah,
sell"?
I
If
agree. Give him one more year because look, his value after this season will be too low anyways. Like the obligation will get triggered now after this season. So we technically can sell him, but his value dropped in my opinion. Like with 5 GA, like you're not ripping out trees. So I'm definitely willing to give it one more season. But then if he raises the value a bit, then I am always sell because he doesn't have a defined position. And like we said, like a couple of times now, we have too many players that don't have a defined position and that are backups and all of that. So give him one more season, build the value up, and sell him then.
Yeah, and I mean he's only getting older,
Agree.
and I'm sure his injuries aren't going to get better with age. So yeah, Wea, let's let Dash start this one.
Oh man, so Weah's got a side of two tails, right? But like Weah at the beginning of the season was scoring and was doing well, and then Weah, I don't even remember if Weah really played the second half of the season.
Not a whole
Um,
lot.
yeah, I will probably say a 5. Just because again, he's not getting minutes. I don't know if that's him not working well in training or whatnot. For me, he was a signing that we got for 10 million. And again, at this point, if you're able to get anything 10 million or more, I would just move him on. I don't think he's fully broken on. He's been here for 2 seasons, and I don't think he's really burst onto the scene unless again you're able to get like an elite coach that can do something with him. I mean, he's versatile. He can play right wing. He can play fullback. He can give you all those backup options that you would need. He hasn't shown that he's a starter. And again, it's kind of just been the epitome of his Juve stay. I think more so if you're able to get anything close to 10 mil, I think you just move him on at this point.
What about you, German Dave? What you thinking?
I agree with almost everything Dash said. Look, we bought him for 10 to 12, I believe. So we didn't spend a huge amount. And I am consistent with with the opinion I maintain. Do you remember when everybody at the end of last season already said, "Oh, we have to sell him, we have to sell him," and he didn't play good and all of that talk about him. I said, "No, give him another season," and I'm consistent with that. We gave him another season, and honestly, didn't really explode onto the scene. So I would sell him if we get like anything near to what we paid for him, but I think we can even make a bit of profit on it. Like he's not a player that will go like underneath 10 million, so maybe even 15 something.
Yeah, his
If
value
we
right
can
now in transfer
recuperate
market's
that.
about 17, so you might be able to make.
Yeah. Yeah, if we get something along those lines, sell him. He would be one of those that you can definitely improve upon. And what I never understood why we barely played him as a left winger. Because
Right.
Motta liked himself like inverted wingers, right? He has a great shot with his right foot, so I never understood why we didn't capitalize on his speed on the left side, let him cut in and score a couple of goals. He did that in the Coppa Italia last season, if you remember, if you guys remember. And
Yep.
he had a couple of those in this season as well, but I don't get why we didn't try that.
I don't think he played
So
that poorly. I mean, like if he contributed for the little amount of time he had, he did contribute, right? I mean, Mike, do you have his stats
He
up
had
for
more.
this?
No, he had more goals than Doosan. He had more open play goals than Doosan for like half the
Shit.
season.
Yeah. So like, what's the problem? I don't know.
I
I
I I
don't know.
have no idea. I never understood that. That's why I go 5.5, honestly, because I expected a bit more. I don't know whether that is too harsh.
Got a
but
5 and a 5.5. What are you thinking, Ann? Since
I
you kind
just
of
don't
chimed
know
in there.
what's
Yeah,
happened.
5.5 as well. Yeah, I don't. I mean, he's so cheap. He's been versatile. I don't think he plays poorly as a wing back either. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'd sell him, but I think his contribution is more than people would think, generally, and in some bigger games too, he comes through. I like players like that. I put a lot of stock into like what you do in big games and how you are when the chips are down. I think he tends to rise to the occasion. The problem is he does fade out a lot in your mid-season games. Like I think as a starter, the jury's out, but he's had a lot of impact off the bench, and certainly in big games, I think he's had a good impact. So, but I wouldn't be. We have a lot of these players on the team, like I said, kind of about the point with McKenny.
Yeah.
Where it's like you got to part with some of these guys. We brought him in cheap, just sell the guy.
Canadian Dave.
Yeah, I mean, pretty similar. I like him. Got nothing against him at all. Yeah, Locatelli last year, good examples. Like he's got, we dubbed it the BBR when he just launches them in. He's got the big black rocket, bam, top shelf
Oh.
kind of thing, right? And it's absolutely beautiful when he does it. And then he has games where he's a $10 million player. It's
Yeah.
he kind of is what he is. He has those moments of brilliance when he's put in the right situations and he's allowed to shine. He can kind of step up and do that. But yeah, he's an off the bench guy. He was never supposed to be a starter. He wasn't like we paid 10 million for him in a season where we didn't really do anything. Like I was in Turin that September, just a few weeks after we picked him up. They had his face plastered on the side of a bus. It's like
That's
they
$10 million
they had
signing.
nothing else going on. Yeah, put Timmy on the bus. Why not? He's the new kid. Yeah, put
Pacing.
Timmy on.
God, we
You know?
suck so much
Yeah.
ass.
What would your rating
Mm.
be?
Yeah, 5.5, 6. Like I kind of want to be a bit nicer to him with the 6 because
Okay.
I don't think he was really given a fair shake at it. And if he was, he probably would have maybe done a bit more with some consistency.
That's fair. That's actually my rating for him. I think, weirdly enough, I haven't actually ever seen him play a bad game. I've seen him only be good or be okay. I've never seen him actually be bad. He's not somebody who typically has gaffes. He always works hard. He's super cheap, very versatile. He's one of those guys you might have to sacrifice if you're trying to upgrade the whole squad, and you may have to sell him. So I think if you get a good value, 15 plus from him, sell. If you don't fetch that though, and he's just fetching you 10 mil, I wouldn't sell him. I would keep him for that price. So, but I would give him a 6. So I think overall the consensus was about a 5.5.
Bang, bang.
Mbangula. Let's actually start it off. Dave.
Yeah, outside of Yildiz in terms of young talent, this is the guy. He's one of those surprises, I suppose, in terms from the youth sector that we got. Lots of comparisons to say Illing Jr. from last year. People glaze the hell out of Illing. Bengal is better. He's just got a higher ceiling, I believe. He just has more of that Juve DNA and that grinta. He fights for it, and I love it. And he just needs more time to develop and continue on and just turn into the player that his potential. He just has to meet his potential, and I think he can do that, or at least get a good way down that journey at Juve. Is he gonna be a long time, like here for the next 5 years? I don't think so necessarily. I think this is somebody like one of those Plus Valenza type deals. But for now, I think we continue to develop him, try to increase his value. He's definitely got it in him. But yeah, still, he still has a ways to go. I'm giving him a 6.5, and I would keep him on for now and just continue to develop.
Nice. German Dave.
I am with Mbangula similar-ish to Savona. When he played, like he always he used his speed. He scored like 3 goals, had a couple of assists. Like it wasn't a bad season at all for this being his first pro season with the team. Um, he was good. He inverted really good. He scored a couple of beauties, like top bins as well. one or two of those three at least. And I like him, but honestly, my thing is, I don't want him and Yildiz to be my left side. But I don't want to sell him either because his value is not high enough for us to capitalize
Yeah, it's
on
not up
anything.
high
I
enough.
would loan him.
I was just gonna say that. Would
Honestly,
you loan
I
him or keep him? I think maybe you loan him, right? Because it's not good enough for like the next
yeah,
tier you want to hit, but maybe a loan.
yeah.
Loans could work.
I would loan him depending on whether we want Weah or and Yildiz to be the left side, or whether we get another left winger to back up Yildiz. But I want my left side to be stronger, so I would honestly sell him. Let him get a bit more experience.
Good loan. Yeah.
And for this season, I don't know if I answered it already. 6.5, like same as Savona, in my opinion.
Dash.
This one's kind of funny for me because I remember after the first two games I went on stream. Canadian Dave and I were on stream and we were talking about expectations for the Champions League, and I remember we had a goober in the chat comment and say, Thiago Motta is an elite coach. We should be winning the Champions League. Look at what he did with Mbangula. And I still remember that. And I'm like, dude, it's only been 2 games. Chill the hell out. I think I'm gonna probably go on the 6.5 scale. Just again, body of work when he came in. Positive player, and I don't mean positive as in a positive attitude, but contribution wise, positive. The crazy thing about it is he had 32 appearances this season, which is
Really?
yeah, 32
All
appearances.
comes, yeah. 23 in Syria alone.
He
Wow.
played 1,000 minutes though,
Yeah,
1,077 minutes.
not a lot of minutes.
Yeah, he had a lot of like 86th minute appearances. Things
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then again, overall, 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 goal contributions. It's not bad at all, especially with it being 1,000 minutes. That's on average 269 minutes of goal contribution. So it's not a bad stat,
No, if you
really.
break it down just in Serie A, too, he had 7. 3 goals, 4 assists, and only 700 minutes. It's really not bad for
That's
a
decent.
kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Would I keep him right now? No. What I would do is I would loan him to a Bologna or to a team that's really heavily utilizing wingers. Because I think again he would thrive there. He would get more minutes, less pressure, and he could develop his skill. Because I don't see him usurping Yildiz if Yildiz is going to continue playing as a left winger, and I don't think it's. And it's again, I don't understand this obsession that Juve people have with youngsters or minors. Because you can only have so many minors and you can't develop all the minors. Ask P.
Mhm.
Diddy. He learned that the hard way. But when you look at it, though, I think, again, for him, he's beneficial to go play at a loan or have a loan at a team that's very winger centric for him to develop and get more minutes. Obviously, hopefully, he doesn't get injured, but I don't see him developing at Juve. I think he needs to go somewhere else to develop. And then after 2 years, Juve could then make the decision, integrate him to the team or sell him.
Ant, what do you think?
I mean, I agree with pretty much everything that's been said here, especially the P Diddy thing. That really really. No, I mean,
Everything's home for you.
it's you can't have a team of children. You just can't. And
Look at Chelsea. Look at Chelsea today. They won the Conference League.
Exactly. That's what a team of talented children gets you. Conference
Yeah,
League
but they
and
bought
back, yeah.
those teenagers for $1 billion fucking euros.
Dude, it's all potential, and that's why people get excited. They just think about what could be and not what is.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you want to see what happens to kids who have high expectations put on them, check out Corey Feldman. That's exactly the future when you don't live up to expectations. No, I think Bang Bang did a good job. He's got a lot of skill, and I really like the games that he did come through. And once again, he did score some pretty important goals, and he was surprising to me. So
Are you
I
going
definitely
similar
would
rating
loan
then
him
for?
out. Yeah. I'm going to give him a 6.5. I think he overachieved. He exceeded my expectations a little bit. Didn't play enough to do more, but I think he probably could have if he did. They need to loan him out and get him some consistent playing time and see what happens.
I've got nothing to add. I agree with all you guys there. 6.5,
Oh, it's gonna be a fun
loan
one
him.
here.
So we'll keep it at that. Vlahovic, we will start with.
Next one, Dash has to take that first.
Okay,
Yes.
Dash, have at it. This is what I don't know enough about your history with him, but it sounds like he's your boy, right? You're a big fan.
Oh yeah, totally. Great freaking fan of this guy. As I like to call him, the Serbian Piontek. No, my rating for him is a -10.
Nice. Okay. So anything we give
At
now to the ratings are fucked.
I like it. Yeah, no, I like it.
-10, the epitome. If you look up dog shit, that's what you'll see is Dusan Vlahovic. Like in the past 4 or 5 years that we've had him, there hasn't been any kind of improvement of his play. He is probably I think Piontek was a better player than Dusan was with half the cost. Dusan to me is again a 6-month wonder that everyone thought he was this elite, fantastic player. Which again, even back then I thought Moise Keane was better than Dusan. I think Dusan just thrived of Italiano spamming the ball in the box, and then that's kind of what it is. Because again, it shows this guy needs 50 freaking chances for him to hit one. His accuracy, hell, I have bits of him making some of the most stupidest things ever saved on our StreamYard deck, like clips of this. And it's just like he's not even I don't even know like what he even does. He's not physical. He's not fast. He has a good left-footed shot when there is nobody covering him. I guess penalties are
He doesn't even
mediocre
get
as
that
hell.
sometimes.
Yeah, penalties are mediocre. I don't even think he understands he has a right foot. Positioning is terrible. I think the only thing he is good at is getting cucked by defenders and then raising his hands up when he's on his ass on the ground. That is the only thing he can contribute that's anything decent.
Well, you
But
get
like,
anybody to do that. You know, you don't need him for that.
well, I mean, he's just really
Yeah.
good at that because that's just on instinct.
So
It's just like,
-10. Oh man. I don't know how we're gonna balance this ratings out.
Well, he's costing us what 20 million this year too on the books. He's like 20 million.
22 million
His salary
gross.
is insane, isn't it? Isn't he like by
22
far
million
one who makes
gross.
the most?
Yeah,
He's the most
Yeah.
paid player in Serie A, which is fucking ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, like, but to add on to that, like, there is people in the fan base that are like, "Oh man, look at him, so loyal. He wants to remain at Juve because nobody's paid 22 million gross. You damn ingrates."
Yeah, I'd be loyal too. I'd point at the badge and do scream face in the photo shoots. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. All right, I like that review of him. Anth, you take next.
I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, I'll give him a 1. No, I'll give him a 0.
Thank
give him a
you.
0.
Wow.
Don't give
I'll give
him
him
a
a 0. You know
fucking
why? You know,
point. Fuck
dude.
him.
Yeah, it's been so many seasons now that it's just like, when's this guy gonna do it? And it's massive signing for the wrong. I know what they were trying to do. Just pick a hot name, big name, desperate to stay at the top. Everything's slipping away. And they don't know what to do, so they make desperate moves. And this was a desperate move, and it's been that way ever since he's been here. And I've always kind of hoped he worked out, but I definitely prefer a striker like Keane. Michael knows how big of a fan I was of Keane, and didn't want to see him go either. But I thought if we had a front line of Keane and Yildiz, that would look a lot better than what we had this season, and especially in Mota's system. I didn't. I think everyone knows I hate. I hated that pickup having Mota coming in. I wasn't a fan at all, but that kind of seemed like a very important piece to fix for Mota's system, was to have a striker that can, almost like a false 9 that can play ball. That's not his game at all. And I don't think that was ever going to work. I mean, first of all, you got attacking mid and Coop. That's not what he does. And then you got a striker that can't actually play. I don't think it was ever going to work. I'm sorry.
The
No, it's
Dave.
just
Yeah,
my
I'll
issue
give it
was
0.
that everybody was using Max as a scapegoat for Dusan sucking. It's like, no,
Yeah.
he's ass.
Yeah, it was Max's fault. Exactly. Yeah, well, I think people, and at least a few people, have learned some lessons through the course of this season. There were a lot of people that just had no other choice but to eat a bunch of crow.
All right, Dave,
So I give him a 0.
take it away. What do you think ratings will be? Either one may start. Go.
German Dave, go for it.
This motherfucker. Pencil the 0 in.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I think we are still we will stay in the minus then. at the end of it. So
Yeah, this
Yeah.
might
I
be a
don't mind that.
minus. Got a 0.
I think
I
it'd be awesome to have a
I
minus.
don't think I ever saw a striker like pound for pound and what he was supposed to be. I don't think I ever saw a striker less talented than him. Like his promise and what was said, what he will be, and the small sparks that he sometimes has. He looks world class. But if you watch him on a consistent basis, passing, trash, scoring, trash, offensive positioning, trash, offsides all the time, misses sitters,
Hold on, your
bad with his back
homeboy,
to the goal.
Mr. Murata there, your favored one is Mr. Offside King over there. So
I
you know,
At
I
least he
though
puts it in the
I'm not
net.
saying that Morata is an 80 million striker. Like
Look, Dusan
there's
missed even when he was offside. He still would miss the net. At least Morata would put it in.
this is true. Yeah, even when you miss the one, you got to go for the other.
I mean it is honestly it is bad.
And
Like
another
and if you
0 in here.
think and if you think about like the player or the other strikers in his age group. Hold up, I had a list up earlier. Like Alvarez, like all comps over 30 goals. Amura from Wolfsburg, I believe 20 goals all comps. Osimhen is in that age group, and Galatasaray scored everything. Mbappe, highest scorer, but I know we're not even comparing him to those games, but Kai fucking Havertz, who missed half the season at Arsenal, 15 goals. Kolomuani tied Vlahovic's goal output. Has 1 goal less in half the season he played. I mean, it is so. I don't even know what to say. Like, output is bad. Eye test is bad. Alexander Isak, by the way, Arsenal, Newcastle, 40 GA in all comps almost.
Oh.
Dude, just get him out of here. Sorry.
I mean, most of his goals were on penalties too. So
Yeah,
that's just a
yeah,
misleading stat
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
It's worse than
Moise
it actually is.
Moise Kean, only I believe 1 month in between them, and that is what Kean is doing. Yep, Kean is 1 month younger than Vlahovic.
Wow.
Kean destroyed the league this year.
Yep.
So
Good for him.
yeah.
Any what or take.
All right, I know we all hate him and that his contract is horrible. He gets paid way too much. His attitude is shit. Everything about him is overall shit, but he still has 10 goals and 4 assists. So, like, despite all of the other crap surrounding him, I mean, he still had output. He still held up the ball before he fell on his ass, just so we can, waste another 10 seconds of play when we were up 1-0. He did something this season. So he gets a 1.5 because come on, plus 10 to minus 10. No, screw you, Dash. You can't give a minus 10 and then give another guy another. This is reality. I mean, he still did something here. It was shit, and that's why he gets a 1. All right, like give him something.
He did contribute more than Louise and Coop Miners.
He did.
Didn't. You know those pens that he scored, he didn't even win them. He just stole them from everybody. So that's like minus swag points.
But then he gets a couple of swag points because when he does show up, he top shelves it again. So, like, to come here, listen, you have a hard bias against him, and I understand he's a piece of shit. We don't like him. But he's not a minus 10. A minus 10 would be my fat ass. Like, come on.
Well, I mean, you do
give him
score
something.
more than him now. I mean,
I
you do have better
I don't
accuracy than him.
score. I'm a middle-aged fat dude with broken ankles and a broken back and a broken shoulder. What am I gonna do?
Be
I'm a
more
minus
productive
10.
than Dusan.
I tell you what,
I'll have
I
a
would
better attitude.
definitely, I would at least be able to pick better looking hookers.
Well, you were looking at the wrong ones.
I mean, come on, there's better. There's 3 of them. Those were like all 4s. Talking about player ratings.
No, I was
Not a
talking
single
about
one of them was above a 5.
Hey,
talking
maybe
about
they
the
just
two
had
dudes.
tiny hands.
Oh.
Maybe they just had tiny hands. That's why you picked them.
The carnies, circus folks, smell like cabbage, small hands.
Yeah, like, 1-inch hands, so it makes this thing feel like, because that's what he is. Like, you
That's
even
true.
saw the Monaco video. He was like super zesty in that. Like, he's exceptionally like just a flamboyant dude, which is just weird. He's like Dennis Rodman, but like without skill.
this
Dennis
Vlahovic,
Rodman was
this
amazing.
Vlahovic conversation went in a direction I didn't expect it to go in. Honestly,
Right, I
Dennis
just don't
it's
like the
wild.
guy. I
Dennis
just don't like
Rodman
him.
went to North Korea to go hang out with a dictator. How they're not the same person.
Dennis
Oh, come
Rodman
on,
was
give
an amazing
give
player.
Dusan like 10 more years.
And 10 more million,
Whatever-
and it might happen.
Whatever Dennis Rodman did away from the court, he made up for in spades on the court. That's an entirely different human.
No, he was amazing on the court. That's
Yeah.
I mean, he had a.
They don't make him like that, dude.
No.
He's one of those individuals, a Dennis Rodman, if you will, that you can excuse how messed up he is because he is that
Oh,
great
absolutely.
on the court. Like Vlahovic, no, don't even put him in the same discussion of Dennis. That's not right.
No, I'm saying like he wants to be him. I'm like he's not
He
him,
wants
but
to be a lot of things. He apparently wants to be a football player, but he's not fucking doing that either.
I don't disagree with you there.
I think I'm more in line with Canadian Dave here. I think that if you really look at it, like, he was not worse than Luis. He was not worse than Coop Miners, right? He's the problem with him is what he signed him for. He signed him for a bunch of money, 70 plus. His salary is insane. So all that gets put on him. He didn't make
It
that
does.
signing. Would you say no to that money if you were offered that? Hell no. No, you say yeah. I'll go play for Juve and I'll be your guy. Am I that player? F no. I am about a 15 to maybe 20 million euro striker, probably 20-ish, right? And that's fine. But he has no issue, no say over that valuation. I think he's going to go to a different team and should. I think he's going to do quite well in the team with service. He might actually do fantastic in a team with service. I don't think he's a
He
great
likes
striker.
service.
Loves the service, especially if there's 5
Yeah.
of them. But no, I think that he's not an amazing player. I honestly, without like all the bias and stuff, would probably have given him like about a 4 this season. But we will still average out in the negatives because of that -10. So this man gets somewhere around a
Oh,
-3. You did it.
We're just making rules up now.
You
at
did, you
this
did it.
point.
You gave him you did it with the
Listen,
-10. You gave him a -3.
Honestly, I could arrange myself with a 0.5, so that would be he would be kind of on the scale, and we had like 2 zeros. And if we discount that, I wouldn't mind a 0.5.
Look, I'm embracing my villain arc, and I am just here for the
I like it.
anarchy.
We're gonna
at
give you this
point.
one,
I
okay?
like it.
We're gonna give you this one. You did
Yeah,
it. You
definitely.
made him a negative. Let's move on
Like,
to
Yeah,
Lloyd
this,
Kelly.
if we're talking about negative numbers, okay, we're at the right guy now.
Yeah, see, this is the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, can you really rate him lower than
To the
Kelly, Luis,
contrary,
Coop
I
Miners? Come
hold
on.
up. Oh, okay. Am I starting because I almost came?
You
You're
get to.
starting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you get to. You're gonna give Lloyd Kelly a 10, aren't you?
So the deal is bad, like bad. And if you think about all the implications with Huysen and blah blah blah, we can dwell on that another time. He is a below average defender, but he hasn't been trash. And the 4 you gave to Vlahovic, I would honestly give it to Lloyd Kelly. If we discount the deal and how bad it is, he still played a lot.
Just
He,
judging him based on
played
play.
well. Yeah, I mean he played 12 games overall for us. Yeah, and yeah, like FOTMOB gave him a 6.8. I think
Amazing.
that's yeah.
Oh,
Honestly,
What?
I would give him a 4. I would give him a 4 just because he was out there. He had a couple of gaps. He had a couple of clearances. Like 4 for me.
4 it is. Anthony, what do you give him?
Well, I don't attribute Kelly and Heisen really together. When Heisen was sold, I was furious, and Kelly wasn't even in the picture back then. So for
Yeah.
me, that's just it does represent Juntali's decision making, and I think that because he's associated with like he was Heisen was his replacement or whatever, however that worked. It gets it gets connected. But that doesn't matter to me. I thought the Heisen move was ridiculous. I was super pissed about it back then, before I even played a game for Bournemouth. It just was a bad move. So Kelly on his own is someone who should never ever be anywhere near Juventus. And the fact that they paid so much money for him is crazy, but it doesn't even matter. I mean, if they bought him for a fucking dollar, this guy should never be on this team. And this to me is Giuntoli's. This is his portrait of the kind of team he's built. Is this guy? The fact that he's even looking at this guy says everything you know about Giuntoli, and I'm shocked he's still employed. Kelly is a poor to average player. He did play some games. He was out there. He wasn't as bad as some of the shit he got, but he's bad. He's not a good player. I give him a 3. But I mean, you could go through his matches. Just watch how poorly positioned he is, how bad he is in a duel, and every once in a while he wins one. You're like, oh,
So that's what I was
thank
going to say.
God.
His positioning to me has been terrible. I would have given him about a 2 to a 2.5. Let's move to Dash.
I'm gonna probably give him probably a
Give him a 10.
4. No, oh God, no. I mean, I love anarchy, but not that
I
kind of
don't
anarchy.
know. Dash is extreme today. You never know with him.
Oh, just we're not done. The list still has more. I'm gonna give him a 4.
yeah.
I'm gonna give him a 4. I think it's fair. I think he's a relegation team player. Like that, he
Yes.
plays on relegation sides or second division. That's where he is. He's not a top division player. Again, I can't attribute his value into him signing with us on him, because if I did, I'd probably slap a -10 on there. But it's not him, right? It's the other guy in the room. Again, for it's just he's not a good dude, like player wise. Like he's just not a good player, and that's kind of where it is. He got cooked numerous times, and that's not what you need out of a center back, and he's just not good. So I just give him a 4.
Canadian Dave.
There was a couple games towards the end where we were like, yeah, I mean, he played a decent game. But then this is our whole skewed perception of reality right now, that we're like, we're dropping the standards. We're
Yes.
looking at things through different lenses, and it's like, oh, Kelly had a decent game. So what, he didn't completely screw up today? Is that a decent game?
I agree with you entirely.
Yes,
Give him a
great
3.
point.
Guys, no, he doesn't deserve to be here. Give him a 3. Get rid of him.
That's a great point.
I think
The
his average
standard, the
turned out
more
to
we
be about
accept this shit, the more we accept it, and it will happen over time. We will wake up one day and realize that oh shit, we're a mid-table team now if we keep accepting this garbage.
I swear to God, what I never understood. Do you remember when the Juve Ultras in Turin went to the streets and tried to stop the Lukaku signing?
Oh my
Those
God.
those motherfuckers. When the Lloyd Kelly report started, why didn't they go to the streets then? Why didn't they stop that shit?
Yeah, no, they'd
Like
rather not have an excellent player here.
I mean,
It's insane,
like
dude.
he is not trash. Like he is below average, and that shouldn't be anywhere near this team. But
Totally agree.
Those are
my
good
God,
ones.
man, it's
It's
such a bad signing, and goddamn,
I
yeah,
think
I'm
Lloyd
keeping
Kelly
my
shows exactly where
extreme
Juve is
rate.
going under the business. Even though it's just
Yeah.
one player, the signings has a lot.
the fans do have a voice. They do have a say. I mean, if
Heck
fans
yeah.
get good and pissed enough, they do listen. I mean, Elkin does listen. Look what he did with Malta. I mean, that Malta firing was definitely due to fan outrage. He just wants.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't. He's sitting there on his yacht, with surrounded by boys and elites, and he gets a phone call and he's like, oh, everyone's pissed, John. He's like, oh no, I got to show up and do something. He'll if you create an environment of like disrest around Juventus, he will show up and like try to fix shit. So if fans stop accepting this trash, he will make changes. So I'm hoping he does it with Giuntoli. We'll see.
So Lloyd Kelly was a keep for everybody, correct? I'm just kidding. So,
Yeah.
We'll move on to Kolomuani. Let's start
I
this.
will leave the stream right now if we keep it.
Let's start with this one on Kolomwani.
Colo?
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly wouldn't keep him. I think they want too much money for him. I'm not a huge fan, but he was athletic. He scored goals. He was better than I thought he would be, but he's still, in my opinion, an average player. I don't think he has a ton of upside. I'd give him a 6, though. I think he did contribute. He definitely fell off the map. He came in red hot, fell off the map for a long time, and then he puts them in late against some poopy teams. So I'll take it. It was nice to at least have a striker putting goals in. I actually think he was better when he was playing out, starting out wide. But that's just me. But I'm not a huge fan. I don't want him to stay. I thank you for your service. Goodbye now.
Yeah, so 6, and then don't redeem or
6.
don't negotiate.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably say 6 because he saved Moto's career and prolonged Moto a little bit longer than Moto should have stayed at the club. Notably, the 2 goals against Empoli when they were losing for like 70 minutes, and he turned that around within 2 minutes. And then again, the goal against Venezia last weekend too, the go-ahead goal, the 2-1. So I think he ironically saved Juve's season to an extent. I think he won some crucial points for the club. So I think giving him a 6 is pretty fair. Again, he did have a hard fall off that my German or my Dutch friend here called it from the beginning. But he did call it, so I'm giving German Dave his props. I will stroke his beard right now for him. But do I keep him? Probably not. The only way that I see keeping him being sensible is if it's just a loan.
Speaking of the man himself, German Dave, what do you think?
Honestly, he scored 2 more goals than I expected. I thought he will be around that 5-6 range, but the impact that he had in the like first 2 to 3 weeks where he scored like bangers, was physical and all of that, I didn't expect that. So honestly, I give him, just on the impact he had and the points he won us in those games, I'm giving him a 6.5. And honestly, to play 16 games and almost like tie Vlahovic goal output is better than I expected. And I didn't expect much for him because like his movements aren't great, his goal scoring. I don't know whether it was just a brilliant season he had at Frankfurt or whether it was just, I don't know, dark magic. But what I saw at PSG, and honestly, it got confirmed when we watched him. Like, he doesn't have a huge like football intellect. Like, he is quick. He has that. So when he gets a perfect run, he most not most of the time, because he doesn't have a high chance conversion, but he scores like a couple of those runs when he gets them. Yeah, 6.5, like above average. It was still a good loan. I don't remember what we paid exactly for the loan. I hope it wasn't a lot. But yeah, in a sense, like he gave us impact in those first couple of games, then disappeared honestly until the last game.
Yeah, I would I would agree with you entirely. I actually would give him a 6.5 because I feel like that his contributions probably got Juve the Champions League spot. His 8 goals definitely mattered, especially, and he had almost like a reverse bell curve where he started off hot, then kind of faded, and then ended well as well. I just don't know what he does. He's not really a striker. He's not really a winger. He's not really a second striker. Maybe that's where you play him. Is you play him up top next to somebody else. That's probably the only position he would fit. He doesn't really do enough in one defined role to keep him, so I would definitely not redeem him. Kind of similar to what you guys thought. Thanks for his service. He definitely helped out. He gets above average because he did help save the season. And I wouldn't redeem him. I would go with 6.5 for him. Canadian Dave, what you think?
Yeah, like you said, started hot, had the lull, picked it back up towards the end. But we have to remember as well, he came into a team that was crumbling from the inside. When he first shows up, he has that honeymoon period. Doesn't really have all those negative effects from everything surrounding him, but they finally settle in, right? I think that's what happened with him is once he realized the shit show he was in, he was like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
This is falling apart. And it wasn't just him. Like, he just showed up. Obviously, he's gonna have a drop off. Everyone had a drop off. So I don't really throw that too hard at him per se. I mean, coming in from Paris, getting thrown into this, you gotta put that into a bit of context. That being said, I mean, he did pick it up towards the end. Yeah, there were some weaker teams, but they're the ones that are playing the low block, and he was the one that was able to break that down. And he did get us over the line. I mean, you can definitely contribute that to him, but then devil's advocate at the same time, like, we just needed somebody else that can score goals because Dusan wasn't doing it. Like, you could have literally put any. You could have probably got Piaka and put him in there, and he would have got a couple goals, right? It's just he was the warm body that we found that somebody was willing to give up for a few months. He did a job. I think it is one of those thank you for your services. Yeah, we can get into the details, the transfer market, whatnot. Maybe there's a loan coming on, but maybe another year to fill a hole. But otherwise, this is not a long-term guy. Overall, he's got a 6 for the season.
Gotcha. I think we had 3 6 2 6 5, so we go with a
If
6.
you dropped Yaka. Wow.
Yeah, he's my deep cut.
All right, we go next.
Who's next?
With Renato Vega, and we will start with Canadian Dave. Go right back to you.
I love this man's mustache.
It's a solid mustache.
okay.
It's very strong.
I mean, it is hard to pull off a mustache, and that's a solid 9 in and of itself. But otherwise, this is another guy we end up judging because of the price tag that's associated with him, the supposed $50 million. And he's not a $50 million player.
I'm
That's insane. If you
sorry,
look at
it's
him,
not even
What's
25
his
million.
deal? Like what's like the deal that you worked out with him?
There's no deal. It's just a dry loan.
Dry loan.
Straight low.
Dry loan.
So, I mean, to say keep or sell, we're not keeping him. I think that's kind of easy. If we had the option to, what, 20 mil?
Probably 20.
He's
Well, not
decent.
even. Not even. Like,
You
No,
look,
he's
paid-
not
you
even.
paid- You paid 20
ahead.
for Lloyd Kelly.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
it's
that
not
that
right.
one does.
It's not right. It's stupid.
Well,
It's
he's
all
not even
stupid.
a center back. He's a fullback that we played as a center back. It's like,
Mhm.
and this is kind of the stupidity of the club. Hey, we're working with Chelsea to get him actually here longer. It's like, no, just put Rugani in because you get him back in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or get
Yeah.
an option.
I don't know. Like, okay, he's not bad depending on our coach, depending on how we're setting up. He could be decent.
We already have enough
but, like,
fullback. What
Yeah.
would we
yeah,
need him for?
It's just, yeah, I don't know. I like him. I love his mustache, but do I keep him around? I don't think so. But he did an alright job. He did a solid job. Again, in a shit back line that he was just thrown into. So just doing a job, like, I would say a 6, but he got just tossed in there out of position. Give him a 6.5 just for the extra effort, and we'll see you next time.
Okay. Yes, what you think?
I'm gonna slap a 5. There was some defensive gaps where I'm just like, oh god, that's atrocious. Bad positioning, bad placement. A lot I saw. Again, he's a right back that got put in a center back, so I understand the leniency towards it. But at the end of the day, like, I don't see the obsession or the need to renew him or to purchase him that, like, Jay Twitter has, because it's like we already have enough fullbacks. You're not paying, because in theory he's what, 5th or 6th choice center back if you actually have proper center backs on the team.
Mhm.
Like, there's no way in hell I am starting him over Rugani. You've lost your damn mind. So it's like, what do I even need him for, besides unless if I want to have a guy with a porn stash?
Do you not? I mean,
Does
I
the
do.
porn stash smell like butthole or vagina? That's the question. That's
Yes.
really what
If
I
it's-
can't decide.
If it's Dusan, I think it's both.
Oh wow.
No, if it's Dusan, it's straight
it's-
booty.
If it's Alicia, we definitely know it's both.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, strudel and pie.
What are you gonna give him for a rating again?
5.
5. And What'd you think about it?
I actually agree with everything Dash said there. The the problem with Vegas, like he just another defender that isn't an actual center back. So we just keep getting these these hybrids in here and thinking that something's going to change. I mean, there's a reason none of our guys are tactically sound. None of them. And do we have in the modern day? Are there really good, truly good center backs that understand where to stand and how to mark
Not many.
and how to win a ball? They're very few and far between.
They have
But
ACL tears.
it's got to be better than this.
Oh, yeah, we got to stop with these Prius defenders.
Do you call it a
it's
Prius?
Yeah, this
Prius.
is a little
Yeah,
hybrid defender. Yeah,
It is,
like
yeah.
it.
It's
He's a bit of a hard one
definitely
to judge. Yeah, I don't think anybody's keeping him.
No,
What would you give him?
I think he's a totally below average player, maybe average at best as he develops. I'll give him a 5 all the way.
German Dave.
Yeah, for me, he is pure average 5. Couple good games, couple of bad games. Like his gaffes weren't as bad as those of Lloyd Kelly. Like he was a dry loan, so there wasn't that money involved as well. That was in the Lloyd Kelly deal. So again, thank you for your service, but stay away from business with Jets because they try to milk like every ounce of profit they can because they need to get out of FFP trouble. So no, don't help Chelsea and do terrible business. And even then, like you guys said, like we have too many hybrids. That like Kalulu hybrid, Savona hybrid, right?
Yep.
Like at
Oh,
least
yeah.
I want him as a center back now. Cabal, for me he's a fullback, but we played him as a hybrid.
Yeah.
And
That's way too
whether
many.
we like him or not,
And Kelly.
and whether Kelly, I don't even know what he is, but and then if you count Kelly into that, we have just 4 straight up center backs with Bremer, Gotti, and if Rugani returns, that is 3. And I don't know if you count Lloyd Kelly into that, but nobody will buy him, so he is there to stay for next season. So
Oh,
that is 3 or 4 just straight up center backs. So we need to
Yeah.
get rid of
Vega
all the
wasn't
side.
like
And Vega's one
atrocious.
of those.
He wasn't
No,
atrocious, but he wasn't good. I agree with you guys. I think he gets a 5. So we had one. Was it a 6 or 6.5 Canadian? Dave, what did you give
Give
him?
it a 6.5. I'm the only one that
Oh,
seemed to
I
like
think
him, right?
alone you've kind of rose him up. He's probably like a 5.3 off that, but we gotta go. You brought him up. There
he
you
gave him
go.
extra points for the stash.
Yeah, there he hits a
I mean-
0.5 stash. So
You know, if Dash can give -10s just because
Yeah.
fuck you, then I can give another point or 2 for a mustache.
That's-
right?
that's what happened here.
More than just an FU. I am a man of culture.
I don't understand the rules anymore.
We're not big on rules.
The rules mainly followed besides like 2 to 3 players. And then it didn't anymore.
We had rules, and then Doosan showed up.
Yeah, that is kind of what happened. Let's round
No,
this
Dash
out with
showed up.
Costa. Anthony, go for it. You really rate him too much? I mean,
He was really cheap, so he was not bad, and I think he's shown some improvement. Certainly not a center back, but he had to do what he had to do last game. But he almost scored. Good for him.
Banger.
Well, he's young, he's cheap. I have no problem with any of those things. Maybe he'll get us some money one day. I give him a 5. Average.
okay. German Dave.
I agree with everything. Like we haven't seen a lot of him. That's I would have liked to see more of him. Like we had that spell where we played Empoli, Cagliari, then Empoli in Coppa Italia again. And we didn't see him then. Like he played 0 minutes in that spell, and that shocked me. Like if we don't play him against those teams, like do we trust him? But in the end, Tudor gave him a couple of minutes, and in those games that he played, he was good. Like nothing great. He almost scored last game. Last game, like that's a bonus. But like he wasn't terrible. He wasn't great. What did I say earlier? 6.5, something like that.
Like, or before the cast?
No,
What
no.
we're talking about?
What I said, I said my rating, and then I dwelt on.
And
I
I
give
gave him
him
a 5. You think you were giving him a 6.
yeah, I give him a 6. 6 is okay.
Idiot Dave.
Canadian Dave, are you there?
Aging Canadian
Yeah,
Dave.
yeah. Canadian. I was on mute myself this time. So,
Nice.
hard. Yeah, you know, trying to keep my coughs and my sneezes to myself. But anyways, yeah, Costa is we didn't get, like I said, we don't see him. How do you judge him accurately? He was good at the end. I feel like there was a lot of people that stepped up those last couple of games, and he was one of them. From those couple of games, he was good, 6.5, but for the whole season, I mean, he didn't show up. I'll
played
throw him a 6.
352 minutes in Serie A
Yeah,
total.
it's just not much. Man, 5.5. Man, he just didn't play. Yeah, 5.5.
It's fair. Dash.
I'm gonna not rate him because I just don't think there's enough body of work to give an accurate rating. I think probably just because he was locked up in Thiago Motta's basement and lathered in baby oil the first part of the second half of the season.
That's worthy of a 10.
He might get a 10, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's where I think that's where he was for that stint. Again, I throw this more on Gentili because it's like, why would you buy him if your coach was not going to use him? We did see some good work, some good spurts the one game or 2 games under Tudor. I just, again, there's not enough sample size to give an accurate rating, so I'm gonna pass on this one.
I think that's fair, and I'm actually gonna go with you on that one. The more important question is keep or sell. I think there's enough there to probably keep. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I'd
keep.
like to see something more.
We've
Yeah.
already got a pretty thick room, so it depends, right? I would say
Yeah,
this.
that's true.
Here's my take. Let them compete at the Club World Cup in training camp, and if he beats them there, he can stay. If he doesn't, you move him.
That's
Right
that's
now,
not a
my
bad
Agree with
take.
that.
right now my fantasy lineup, like except him, I think we don't have a right back because I moved like Savona to center back. So if we get a proper right back, I don't mind having him as the backup. I take him.
I think it's getting
Yeah,
a little
I
bit.
think that's
Go ahead.
no, that's smart. Club World Cup, you got to give him a chance. That's a good point there.
I like
Well,
that
that's
because
what
if his value
Club
rises
World Cup
enough,
needs to be for
maybe
this.
mix him off.
It needs to be taken as like a developmental tournament. I hope we don't take this thing seriously. I really don't. We got a lot of things we got to sort out. We got a lot of people on the chopping block that we need to see if they're worth keeping.
Hey, we already earned the money, man. We might as well throw the tournament away and play the talents we have
When is
to
that
put
starting?
them
About
on the shelf,
mid-June?
right?
Is the Club World Cup starts in
Yeah.
about mid-June?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe
June 14th it starts.
Gotcha.
Our first game is 19th or something like that.
Playing some Middle Eastern team like Al Jihadi or
Al
Jawadi.
Ain, yeah, Al Ain.
It's from
Yeah,
Morocco.
you tried,
They're from
Ash, you tried.
Morocco. I thought you said you were cultured.
They all start with Al.
Who are the big teams in that?
Everything in Dearborn, okay? It's like literally Al Amir, Al Malik.
Al
Like,
Ain is from the Emirates, you uncultured swine.
Yeah, you're not helping yourself right now.
This
I'm not-
juice time
I like
rating,
it.
you know, it's come more into question. Dude.
Oh.
I
playing
think
now.
I
We're gonna
think
play
we
some
hold it and do more like a management thing at some point in the future. So I think we kind of stick it just with players. But
oh, damn.
No, we
I was
gotta
gonna
do- we gotta do
That,
Tudor.
that,
all right, you want to do
that would
Tudor?
have been my -10. That would be
All right,
my
let's do Tudor. I think
-10
June
with the
play
one
is
you
a
wanted.
whole new ball game. But
Oh yeah.
but all right,
That's a video in itself.
Tudor.
Yes.
Let's start with Anth here. What do you think about Tudor?
I think Tudor. I don't know if he actually was an improvement over Mota. I was just glad to see Mota go. But Tudor, I mean, he got us. He achieved our goal. Great success. We're a 4th place team. There was tons of celebration, and
Great
that's
success. Very
great
nice.
success. Nice. We got there, and that's everyone was so fucking pleased. No, he didn't. I don't think he improved us tactically. I don't think he improved our young players. I don't think we look like a better squad with him. I think just in general, the 3-man back line is better, especially when you have a bunch of idiots. It's like, hey, I know what my job
Oh, yeah.
is. Here's my lane. Oh, I'm running the sideline. Oh, I got backup. I got a center back behind me if I blow this tackle. So that helped out just in itself. And so I guess if there's a bonus or a positive thing to say about Tudor, it's that he gave us a very simple formation that helped us out and helped us get across the finish line. But that's pretty much it as far as like understanding how to set a team up on a match-to-match basis. If we think we're going to stick with him next year, we're going to be, I think, in a world of hurt. So I'll give him a 5 just because he accomplished our amazing,
Accomplish the goal.
lofty goals. Yeah, and that's sarcasm, of course, because I think that's really pathetic. That's what
Oh yeah.
we were even celebrating that. I mean, that's what a disappointment.
Canadian Dave.
Yeah. I expected more, honestly. I didn't expect much, but I did expect a bit more. We all knew what we were getting with him. Despite him denying the accusations of being a caretaker coach, that's exactly what he is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what he did. And yeah, let's celebrate for 4th place. Give him a 5.
Dash.
All right, I'm honestly giving him a 0. Like it's
I knew it. I knew it.
no, I am, because like, for example, there was no improvement. I think we got worse under him. I think, again, kind of what Ant said about the formation, I think that's kind of what masked up for a lot of incompetencies that he did. His substitutions were god awful. Perfect example, Lazio, right? Let me sub in Gatti, who can't even jump properly because his calf is fucked, and then let me sub in Dusan for Adzic because I need height and experience. Adzic is the same fucking height. Like, dude. Like, there's, again, for me, I watching the games and watching him, he almost like looked like he was way out of his reach, way out of his scope. He's not a big team coach. He isn't. Again, Venezia, there was numerous times where, again, high line, we were up 2-1 and he had a high line.
Totally, dude. Yep.
High line. Why are you having a high line when you're up? So there's, again, it's just so many issues, so many mistakes, and it's, you look at it, we were at the only difference between him and Mota is maybe the players liked him more than they liked Mota. But like, again, 5 wins, 3 draws, 1 loss. Almost identical to Mota's run of form the
Yep.
whole freaking season. So it's like there wasn't any improvements. Mr. Dusan Vlahovic is the best striker in Serie A. You couldn't even launch him properly. And you were like forcing him the first couple of
Yeah, he
games you
tried.
took charge. So it's like, I'm sorry, but for me, it's just like, Tudor, if this team has to, and if Conte or whoever can't come and you're stuck with Tudor next season, you're screwed. Your season's effectively written off next year. You're chalked. And
Yeah.
and again, for me, it's just like the dude was like crying for finishing 4th place. Like, it's like, again, man, sure, great, you hit your achievement, but that's not something to sit there and treat like you won a title.
Right.
Like, if you're a Juve guy, right? That's not something you'd sit there and bawl your eyes out for, and then go out and say, "Oh, I demand respect," and have a presser or a post match where, "Oh, I believe I've earned respect," or "I believe I've earned this or that and that," and it's like, no, you haven't. Like, you haven't done zilch.
I think it was kind of
If you have
unique
to ask
when
for
go ahead.
respect, you haven't earned it.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. You don't ask for it.
I think it was a bit
Well
unique when I
said.
saw Juve fans getting excited about this because they were seeing, oh, he's got the Juve DNA, and some of them like like
God, I
he's
didn't
pretty
want
much a
this.
very
Wow.
basic coach. I don't know like what you think you're gonna get out of this. He might stabilize for a few games, but that he doesn't have. Honestly, Mota has more to him than Tudor has. in my opinion. And I think
Tudor,
Tudor,
like, and this is what irritates me about that argument. Oh, he drove 10 hours to sign his contract. Grr, 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 Juve guy. Grr, grr, grr. And it's like, dude, it's like if you look at his career, he mostly spent his time coaching his club that he played with in Croatia. Like,
yep.
yeah, he played at Juve, but he's more of a Croatia guy. It's just like, again, it's these stupid flipping content creators that make things over proportionate than what they are. And it's like, oh, he played it with Juve in the 90s, Juve grit and DNA. It's like, dude, playing and coaching are two different things. Pirlo did not work out that well as a coach, and he's still unemployed as a coach. So it's like, I get irritated. It's like Juve is desperately trying so hard to get this, oh, well, more grit this or this and that, where it's like, dude, you just need proper coaches that can say, hey, you play well, you play. You play like Cheeks, you get sold. And
Well, I
and
mean,
they think again. Go ahead.
no, if Juve is going to refuse to do a proper rebuild, then they're always going to be putting lipstick on a pig and telling you that, oh, it's Grinta, it's the Juve way. Look at him point at the badge. It's a total cover up for having a shit product.
It is. And Tudor is the epitome of a shit product.
I agree.
It really embodied this version of Juve. So it's he's, for me, I honestly would have given him about a 1 because he completed the objective of top 4. I will give him a nice thematic 4. Just because of that. Otherwise, I give him a 1. I thought he was not very good. He
We
stabilized,
barely did.
but it
We
was
barely completed the objective.
it was yeah. Honestly, it was pretty rough. German Dave, round us out here.
Honestly, I think it's beautiful that Dash gave way more arguments on how bad Tudor was than he gave arguments for Vlahovic, but scored Vlahovic worse.
That's
No,
very
The
true.
amount of head
honestly,
slamming.
honestly, I didn't think that Tudor would pan out great. I saw him as a caretaker. In the end, that is what he did. I knew he doesn't have a tactical, sophisticated system, like tactically, whether we like it or not. Like even Motta was better than what Tudor showed us. But in the end, like we had to get rid of that cancer from the locker room in Motta, and Tudor in-game management was bad. Lineups were bad. I mean, do you remember the shivers that went down our spine when we saw our defensive lineup for the Venezia game?
Oh my god.
Look, I have a hot
I'm
take on that game. If it wasn't for Hans Nicolucci giving us 2 goals, we wouldn't be in the Champions League.
He was probably paid.
Yeah. Probably.
and
No,
a
it,
Conceição
so, but
dive. So
yeah, it was a
Mhm.
beautiful
yeah,
dive.
no,
That's for sure. Yeah.
no. Honestly, just because we got here. Otherwise, by coaching performance, it would have been a 0. But just because at the end he got us to the he got us the Champions League goal, and whether that is down to him or the players finally looking down their pants and seeing they have balls in the pants. Yeah, man, 4. It's a 4 for me. Just because we got there.
Yeah.
I think because of Dash's rating, he drops down to about a 3.5 because we have a couple 5s, a 4,
like
and then a 0. So we get a 3.5. Does anybody
I
have
feel like
any
you have
final
to throw-
thoughts?
Yeah, scientifically, don't you? If you always have an outlier, don't you throw those away? Like-
You shut your mouth,
No.
Canadian Dave.
No, we
don't do
include it
that
here.
here.
Okay, because the whole
Not-
Vlahovic rating was only an outlier. Okay,
Yeah.
so we include it tonight.
We're not big on-
No, it was great. Thanks, thanks for having us. No, we're gonna. You can't stop us from being the dive. I guess we're gonna give you those awkward intros, especially because I had German Dave muted, censored for the first 5 minutes.
I thought it was
I-
it was nice. I thought it was a beautiful intro. Nobody's gonna see it
We
anywhere else,
showered you
just
with
here.
compliments too.
Look.
You missed it.
Look, it's 10:47, and I'm still surprised that Canadian Dave is awake. I thought he'd be passed out in his chair by now.
Shut the hell up!
Hours
It's
past my
5,
bedtime.
5 a.m. here, man.
Holy shit!
The
man.
sun just
Oh
came
my
out
God.
again for me.
Oh,
Dude, I'm
man.
used to you. You and I watch WrestleMania. Like, you and I will watch
yeah.
like 6-hour WWE streams, so I know you're capable. But Canadian Dave, like, I remember the one time we watched a stream with him, and he's like, "Oh, that's a dude, huh?"
Yeah, Rhea Ripley. Yeah.
Well,
I
no,
remember
Yeah,
that game.
appreciate you guys hashing it out. Really do. And yeah, maybe we'll do just a Jutuli Bash Fest one day. Hopefully he's gone.
I'm in.
I
Maybe we'll see
think
him
a
for
Juve
a while.
rebuild is probably one of the most in depth things that you can do, and maybe that's more applicable to like a live and. But I thanks you guys for coming. Big shout out to the boys at the dive. Do the triple D attack, double Dave and
Yeah.
dash.
Oh,
Right, you
triple
like it?
D.
Yeah, triple D. It's stronger than
Triple
double
D
D.
like Gordon
Yeah.
Bombay.
But no, thank you all for joining, and check out the Dive Sports, and ciao.
Doosan sucks.